Show. And we are live. I have a question. This probably doesn't happen to you since you're actually a great cook there, Mr. Not Nolan Ryan, but I took a nap, timed it out. I was like, if I wake up at 6, I can cook my little Totino's pizza because it only takes 15 mints. But then you forget that you got to preheat the oven, and that takes like
the oven.
20 minutes.
That's that happens.
Rookie move on my part there, everyone.
Yeah,
So
and you can't just put it in at
apologize.
the beginning and then it's a mess if you try and do that.
Yes, no, you got to put it in hot right away so it crusts up right. And well, hello everyone.
Hello,
Thanks for
hello.
joining us. I am Tom. This is my best friend, Bryan.
Yeah.
Not Nolan Ryan from the internet. Everyone knows him. He's got the little Nolan Ryan with an X. Why don't you just start off by telling us why you're not Nolan Ryan?
It's just kind of like I had my original Twitter account and I randomly, started looking at kind of card stuff on there and found card Twitter, and I was like, well, I want to keep, and I abandoned my old Twitter, but within like 3 days, but I was like, I want to start fresh. I don't want my old Twitter account. I want to have a new one. And I think one of the hardest things when you're, either making a new screen name or a new character is picking a name. Like you really have to, it like stresses me out just thinking about it. I'm like, what do I want to do here? So I wanted something a little goofy. I think that, not Nolan Ryan. I think it flows very well off the tongue. And a little bit of background on, I guess where it came from. Pretty random, I guess, but my grandparents have like probably 3 or 4 pictures of Nolan Ryan in their house. Like there's one on the fridge, like there's like 3 of him and 2 of me. So I'm just like, okay, they like Nolan Ryan more than me, so not Nolan Ryan. I don't know. It just kind of randomly popped up into my head, and I like to think of a lot of stupid things like that, and just I'm in a group chat with a couple of guys in the hobby, and we will reverse the first letter of like Nolan Ryan, Roland Nyan, just reverse the first letter, first and last name, and just stupid stuff that sounds fun. That's kind of what it's all about.
That's I see that all the time. I think who was on there is Brooke, right? One of them.
Yeah, Brooks
Yeah,
Beans.
he's such a nice guy too. But enough about that piece of shit. We've got you. You are one of 2 people from the hobby that I've actually met in person, and that was such a fun time. Because my wife and I were nervous a little bit, and it wasn't me nervous as much as like I got off work and had to go do something on a weeknight, which is rare for me.
Right.
But I was like, Bryan's coming, man. Like, this is a have to. And that's what I told her. I was like, he's a must.
Yeah.
Like, there's other people I could blow off, but I can't blow you off. And we
it
met
was
up,
very
had some
like
Mexican
we
food.
flew in that, kind of got there around midday, I think. And like we get to the hotel room and we're kind of hanging out, and I was like, well, we're going to meet Tom for dinner. There was a couple other things we were trying to do, not really that at that time, but when you're somewhere for a short weekend, it's kind of, you're just always cramming things in there. And I was like, Tom is a must. Like we've got to do this. And I'm very glad we did, because it was a lovely experience.
It was. And your girlfriend, my wife, was like, she's so cool. I love her. Well, they should move out here so we could be couple friends. Because all of our couple friends we had like 2, but they all moved to the east. So it's like, we need someone to move back.
Right.
So she was just like, why do we always find these amazing couples and they're so far away? And it's like, well, the internet, that's where you find really good people.
Absolutely.
And crazy
common
people,
interest. I mean, it's not, you're not bound by location on the internet. You just wind up with people that you enjoy talking to, or you ignore them.
Yes. Speaking of coming up with like usernames and screen names, my screen name's Tom. My Twitter handle's Tom P. Willis. And if my character wasn't named Tom on my old Nintendo saves, it was T-Bone, because that's what a friend nicknamed me. So It's real easy for me. I'm just Tom or T-Bone.
That is easy.
I don't have to. I'm not very creative when it comes to names. I'm really bad at it, but it's like I'm just gonna use my own name. I don't. It's not original, but it's easy for me. The main
Yeah.
character in Final Fantasy Tactics, his name's Tom.
See, with Tactics, I like to keep Ramza. I keep
Yeah.
Ramza the original. It's just I don't know. That's one of the very few.
I stopped doing that in my 20s, renaming the characters. When I was a kid, I would name them all the time. It would be Tom, or like after my friends or my family, or after Star Trek characters. I probably have a Final Fantasy Super Nintendo 2, but 4 overall, where it's Picard, Riker, and all those people from the next generation.
I remember Final Fantasy 7. I had like Barrett, the big strong guy, was like my friend Mike. Like Tifa was this girl that I had a crush on. Just like naming all the characters, the people that you want them to be. It was so silly, but it's fun.
So yeah, we are planning on talking hobby Twitter, cards, sports, some video games already, and probably a little bit more. We have a lot of shared interests. So we also want to talk about the Twitter hobby bingo that came up the other day.
I need to get a pen and paper and
yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
This was inspired when I was doing something with Ivan and he posted a picture of someone spanking, and I just said "spank me, daddy," and then someone's like, "Put that on your hobby Twitter bingo." So if we're gonna make hobby Twitter bingo, "spank me, daddy's" got to be on there somewhere.
Absolutely.
And Che, thank you for being in the chat. Ian Sports Cards on the Twitters. Ian Sports Cards 1, I think.
Oh, I've got I just scrolled over and saw the comments.
Yeah, he was just talking about the pizza. If you don't
soft tissue, yep, that's true.
If you don't let it cool down a little bit, yes, you're gonna kill yourself.
So that's another thing. If you think you've got
mouth.
15 minutes, you've got to preheat the oven and then you've got to cool the pizza.
Yeah.
So that's like 20 extra minutes.
That's why we are 15 minutes late to the show because
I also ate I really did eat a banana and I didn't want to do it on camera. So
oh man, we would have been like 150 views already.
That's for OnlyFans. You got to pay.
You want to hear something messed up about OnlyFans? I put a screenshot how I was trying to get verified so I could actually start posting on OnlyFans. Top Shot. People complained about Top Shot. Know your customer, KYC, identification for withdrawals and all that. I did this a few months ago and went to Top Shot, scanned my ID, took a selfie. That day or the next day, I was withdrawing money from Top Shot.
Mm-hmm.
I've been rejected 5 times now by OnlyFans because they don't want to identify me. They said, we need your more social media presence. Please link your Twitter. And I linked to my Twitter, and they denied me like 4 times by doing that. So I sent an email, and I was like, hey, man, what's going on? And she was like, oh, your Twitter, it can't be new, and it can't be empty. So you need to have like post some stuff on your Twitter, and then that way they'll verify you. And I was like, listen, lady, my Twitter's 12 years old. I have like 1,000 posts from this, last 2 weeks alone.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
And then yet there's probably people creating a Twitter that week and posting 6 selfies and
they're kink shaming me, Brian.
Yeah.
They're kink shaming me. They don't want the hairy hobbit feet on
disgusting.
The OnlyFans.
Not your feet, them kink shaming you. That's disgusting.
Some people think my feet are disgusting, but I get it. It's not for everybody. But that's what the OnlyFans is there for.
Yeah. If you don't want it, you don't pay.
So tonight I'm probably going to take like 5 selfies of just my face, no costume, and post them. And that way we can hold on. Olive's just losing her mind. No, I think she's losing her mind. Hold on a second. Let me mute myself.
That will happen to me as well.
All right. Are we back?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
If we just keep on kind of randomly,
keeping it going.
Hobby Twitter, just throw something out. I'll write it down and we'll we'll get to it, you know?
We want to do the basics, right? Like literally shaking, but not too many of those because someone could get a 5 in a row and it'd be easy with like literally shaking
Yeah.
and pack fresh and all those. But
I
a
think,
couple of those.
this one's kinda dying is, like, and this always weirded me out, was people taking pictures of other people while they were looking for retail, 'cause it
Yes.
seemed, like, hypocritical.
Yeah.
Like, "Look at
Oh,
this
look at these
guy."
losers hanging out at Target at 8 a.m. Dude, you're at Target at 8
Yeah.
a.m. Okay. What are we talking about? Beans, right? What's
Yeah,
up? What's up
beans.
with the whole beans thing? Seriously.
That started, I forget what Brooke was talking about, but I was in my kitchen and I had oh no, I think I started it. I had a tub of dried beans and I was like just thinking about how ridiculously wealthy Jeff Bezos is. And you'll see those comparisons where it's like, this is Jeff Bezos' wealth, and then like you're like a dot in the corner, and it's like that's an average person, and it's like holy crap. So I just took a picture of my dried beans. And I was like, this is Jeff Bezos' wealth with no like context, just because I don't know, thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And then Brooke said something, and I took a picture of 3 beans and said, these are Brooke's beans. And then it
Uh,
escalated. I know
yeah.
Cards Max thinks he's the Bean King, but has never shown any proof or verification. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, Che says my audio's on point. My headset got damaged somehow. I don't know if my table ripped the cord or my wife vacuumed it. But yeah, it was kind of torn up, a little scratchy. And Che put together a rack. People chipped in to buy me a new headset, which I'm very thankful for.
Awesome.
It's super comfortable. My old one was from like an Xbox, like $50 Xbox bundle, and I just took
Yeah,
the little part out and plugged it in my computer. But this one's got like a nice long cord, a little controller. You see me trying to figure out how to use. But yeah, it feels good and it sounds good. It's a lot louder, so I had to turn the volume down, but it feels awesome, man. So
good.
yeah. So I usually do this first, but we kind of just meandered in through a whole bunch of thought vomit topics. But tell everyone about yourself.
Um, I guess I'm not Nolan Ryan. That's probably the most important part about me. Um, I went to Virginia Tech. I got this sweatshirt on here. I'm from Maryland originally. I went to school, Virginia Tech, and then I moved down to South Carolina. So I've been down here for 7, almost 8 years now. Um, I'm a Broncos fan. I'm an Orioles fan. Um, I've only been back in cards for like a year and a half. Summer of 2020, pandemic. Um, I have 4 dogs and a cat. So big pet house here.
Nice.
Um, I used to have a saltwater fish tank when I was in Maryland, because my parents had a basement, and basements tend to do well, but temperature-wise. But here, I live in I used to live in an apartment on like the second floor, and like the heat, it's just I couldn't get the temperature right, so I gave it up. But I'll be
Oh,
back with that eventually.
I
Um,
love fish. We never did saltwater when I was growing up, but we did a lot of freshwater. We had like a huge 55-gallon
oh
that
yeah,
had like an Oscar in it and, Cosmos and
and the little sucker fish, and
yeah.
yeah.
Hey, Gold Line's in the chat. What's up, Chris?
Yeah, I think fish tanks are cool because you can, you can take a step back and you're looking, it's like, oh, there's the Oscar, there's the fish or whatever. But
Mhm.
then you can also kind of like, go in there and be like, holy crap, there's all this other life going, if you've got like little shrimp and little other invertebrate that are doing fun stuff. Um, so I think it's very cool, that you can take a step back and see fun stuff and then really zoom in and see fun stuff as well.
If you have a fish tank and you get crabs for your fish tank, they will escape if you're not careful. I don't know if you've ever had that problem, but we would get the little crabs to help clean, and
Yeah.
I would just find them crawling on the floor all the
Yeah.
time as a kid. I'd be like, "Oh, okay, here you go, buddy." Like Boop.
Yep. I had a little, like, hang on the back filter, and they would just, like, plop themselves in there, and I'd
They
be like,
crawl on
"Cool,
up,
man.
yep.
That's not what you're supposed to do."
They don't a lot of times they don't cooperate. You get a pretty fish and it just wants to hide in the little flower pot,
Yep.
or you get something and it just murders everything else.
Yeah, you get something that's a big asshole, and it's like, "Oh, well, this doesn't go with this," but I think that's
Yeah,
another fun part that I liked about, the saltwater fish tank was, you know, they're it's a very contained ecosystem, so, like, when a problem popped up, you know, you'd have to try and solve it, but then another problem would pop up, so it's kinda just like it kept you busy and,
yeah.
you know, always learning new stuff, how
I
stuff
always like
interacts.
sitting by the tank and watching it because the water was just like a cool feeling.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, like the fish tank just had that cool, refreshing out of it just
A
felt
little
nice.
ambient noise too, I like
Mm,
ambient noise, I
yeah,
think that's good.
yeah. So that's a yeah, we're fish people. Always have been. Used to catch we used to have a pond in Tennessee where I grew up, and we used to catch fish like hillbillies, bare hands or with fishing poles, bamboo poles, or anything. And then it just kind of became like, I lost the taste for eating fish. So
I
it's like,
was
well,
about to say because you don't eat that much fish
I
anymore.
used to. When I was a kid, it was like catch a bass or a catfish or a bluegill, and we would be eating it for dinner. I moved to Colorado, and it's like trout, and people are like, "Oh, trout's so much better," and I was like, "Ugh," and instantly lost my taste. Except for Long John Silver's, I'll eat all of that, but that's just because of the fried breading. You could fry a turd in that, and it would taste
Yeah,
delicious.
it's like 25% fish and
Yeah,
25% oil, 50% breadcrumbs. That's a good formula.
yeah, it works out for giving you the nastiest farts, man.
Yeah.
So when you almost all of our friends in our like cardboard community group, they came back to the pandemic. I came back in 2011, so I can gatekeep on you all if I want to, I guess. But when did you collect originally? As a kid, like when did that happen?
So, I was born in 1990 to give you a frame of time.
You're a
Um,
child.
I know. Yeah. And then so growing up, I had 2 older brothers, so they, you know, kind of liked what they liked and started to get into cards because of them. Um, I started to really get into basketball cards in the mid to late 90s, which was fun because I still think that some of the most like beautiful cards of all time are like late 90s inserts. Like
Yeah,
they just did
they're
such
really
a good
cool.
job with them. Um, I don't really have anything like that cool from that era, but like to me, they're the best, even though they're not like those like $100 Kobe Bryants.
Yeah.
But what I have, I love the Flair Showcase set. I think is like my favorite of all time. Um, but then I really got into Pokemon too, because I think I was in like fourth or fifth grade when that came out. So it's just a very natural. All my friends were doing it, and I remember getting, you know, my $10 and going to getting like 3 booster packs and trading with my friend that we went to the mall together with. Um, and then I guess I grew out of Pokemon pretty quickly, I think, because I really only have like 1990 and 2000 Pokemon cards. Like I stopped after they branched out of the original 150.
Yeah.
And once they got to Pokemon that I wasn't familiar with, I was just kind of like, all right,
These aren't in the show.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, I'm gonna go after Jamal Tinsley rookie cards and clear premium now. Um, so then I kind of started to do a little more basketball. And my brother at that time was collecting baseball, early 2000s. And then, so I guess once I get into high school, I probably stopped. Um, Video games, I was playing EverQuest Online Adventures like 100 hours a
Yes.
week. So, um,
My buddy and I, we started with that one, and he liked it a little more than I did, and I was just like, there's too much going on right now. Like, we're 7 expansions in, and we're just starting it, so it's kind of like I feel like
yeah.
I'm too far behind to do it. But yeah, those online MMOs that back then, man, nothing was better than that.
Oh,
So
yeah. It was, without having, I started playing that before I had a job. So it was like, amazing. And
Yeah.
then when I got my first job, my boss played World of Warcraft, and I didn't know this, but a couple of my friends also played. So like I started playing, then like started like nerd out a little bit, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, we're all on this server." So it's like, all right, I'm jumping over to the horde.
Nice.
Abandoned my magician, no magician, still level 51.
So far. So close, but so far.
Right?
Yeah, I kind of I collected like football cards mostly. It was baseball till like 92. There was a little bit of basketball and football till like 95. Then I switched to comics and video games
Yeah.
pretty hardcore. And also like collectible card games, Magic the
Oh, cool.
Gathering, the Star Wars one, a Lord of the Rings one. We were just playing like all of those, just buying them up, snatching them because it was like that's what was hot. I did buy like a little bit of Pokemon, but none of my friends wanted to play anything like that.
Right.
And that's why I bought it. I didn't buy it to like, oh hey, look at these shiny, cards. No, I was like, I want to play. And I hear it's a popular game, but no one wanted to. So it's just like kind of lost its time. But yeah, from the early 2000s for me, it was mostly video games,
That was the
PlayStation.
golden era. PlayStation 2 was
Yes.
so like much better than anything before it that yeah, the best.
Yeah, well, I got one of the first PlayStation 2s when you could actually go to a store when the day it came out and buy it. Which was I think the first time I had a system that was like day one or week
Yeah.
one, and I actually bought it. Yeah, and then yeah, we like I said, we were doing MUDs, the little text online role playing games.
Mhm.
We got banned from a lot of those for being jerks and um well, then yeah, we went to EverQuest and then we did Dark Age of Camelot, which was really amazing game ahead of
Okay,
its
I haven't
time.
played that.
Then we went to Star Wars Galaxies because we were all Star Wars people, and that's
Yeah.
where me and my real life buddies met my online guild buddies. We're the Widowmaker clan, I guess, or guild from Star Wars Galaxies, WDMKR, because you can only have 5 letters. And then we went to World of Warcraft and then a million other games. We're still gaming together now. They're playing that Amazon game, New World, that came
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't want to play an MMO right now. I'm just
It's
too
so
tired of it.
much, man. It is, like, a lot, and
Yeah.
I can do a lot in a little amount of time, but I can't, like I burn out after 2 weeks or whatever it is, like, I can't
Yeah.
keep up with it, so it's very difficult for me to get into an MMO right now, but I do
It,
miss them.
yeah. For me, it's kind of like I'll go back to play World of Warcraft and I'll play for like 6 months. And then get tired of it and I'll play for a year and then like play when the next expansion's about to come out again and catch up and have fun. But I could play like 10 hours a day every day, or well, not now because all the work and stuff, but
Right.
you could play like as soon as you get home to go to bed for a few days, and then like the next day I'll just be like, you know what? Nah, unsubscribe. I'm just play out my rest of the month and that's it, like I don't have an addiction. I'm pretty good with addiction. Food is my main issue, but other than that, like I never got addicted to anything. So it's kind of nice, my wife doesn't have to worry about me going off the rails and losing a job because I'm raiding in World of Warcraft or anything. But
That is good, yeah.
yeah, we mentioned it Final Fantasy Tactics. We both share a love for that game. Tell me how you got into that, or were RPGs always a game style you liked? Was it like Final Fantasy 7 was it for you? And then you're like, well, this is the next Final Fantasy that came out, so I'm gonna play it.
I don't really know so, being the youngest, it was kinda just like, "Hey," whatever my brothers were into, that's by default what I had access
Yes.
to, um, and I think it really became one of my favorite games, because for some reason, like, I would go over there was Mike and Cody, and I would go over to either one of their houses, and we would play it there, and then I had another friend, also named Bryan, and we would play it, and it was just like I had it in common with so many people, um, that it just made it so much fun because of that. I also think, like, the replayability of that game is unmatched in any other game ever.
It's
Like, you
huge. Yes.
can go be like, "All right, I'm gonna do, go down this path and, have this gonna be my crew." And you can kind of model it so many different ways, and it really changes every single fight in there. Um, and I used to play it once a year. It used to just be like, I'll do one run through and, drop it and then pick it up in a year. Um, I have not. They've got it on the phone now, and they change a couple little things, but I like to do it every now and then. Um, but I haven't beaten it on the phone yet. I'm like at the beginning of chapter 3, but I think I'm going at like a good pace where it's like, okay,
Nice.
I'll,
I haven't played it in a long time. I have the PSP version. When that came out was the last time I played it.
like the
And I
War of
pulled out
Lions or
my
whatever.
yeah, I pulled out my Prima guide, and I was gonna like 100% all the cool stuff, and then I got really bored of
Yeah,
it. There's other things to play, but it's one of my favorite games. I do that. I'll play. I'm not like a play a game every year guy. I'm like a play a game every 4 or 5 years guy, and it
yeah.
kind of circles which game that is.
I think one aspect of Final Fantasy Tactics, like if you want to 100% it, you want to master these jobs, you want to master Ninja and Lancer, like you have to grind for it. There's no like secret to do it. You just have to grind. And I think
Mm,
that, kind of opened up. I don't mind doing that, just mindlessly sitting there and doing something for a couple hours.
mhm.
Um, EverQuest Online Adventures was huge into grinding. Like that was how you leveled up.
Yep,
Um, and then World of Warcraft, a little more
questing and
quest
yeah.
related, which is kind of ironic. EverQuest, but no one else would get that.
Yeah. Uh,
But I don't mind the grind. I don't mind the grind.
if it's done well, I don't either. And the key is you get your controller and you do the night job where you do like the power break and you break it to where the enemy can't do any damage to you when they attack.
Oh yeah,
And you do it to where to your own guys to where you don't do any damage where you attack. And then you trap everybody into a corner and you just put a rubber band on your PlayStation controller and you go to bed and you wake up and you're still
just hacking
hacking the
away.
guy. So then you have basically have like the night class mastered, and then those like job points, fractionally kind of carry over to other stuff or
Yeah,
whatever. And so you could get a head start. That's what a friend and I would always do. We would just he would do the rubber band thing. I would just do it manually, like just as I was doing something else to at least not like master it, but like to get to like, okay, I'm a little bit of ahead of the mobs,
yeah.
like I have skills where I could do most of the encounters and get a jump start on the jobs I liked. So yeah, Goldline was saying Twisted Metal on PS2. I never actually played that. I know a lot of people were into that. And then our the superhero from yesterday, we all shouted out Kelly. He's in the chat. He just said, hello. Um, Kelly's just a good dude. Go to Twitter,
Absolutely.
find him, follow him, and you'll love everything about him. So and Goldline and Che and Ian. So and Bryan.
All of
Um,
us and you,
yeah.
Tom.
Yes, me. I'm an acquired taste, unlike these other gentlemen. They're more refined.
That's
you don't
fair.
need to, you don't need a specific palate. But that's actually what brings me to why like you and I get along so well. You have the most similar sense of humor to me that I feel like that I've encountered on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just
There's
the
been a
kind of
couple of times where there'll be a conversation going on, and we'll just veer off into our own DMs or say something so vulgar and disgusting that the other people don't want to hear. It's just
yes.
like, hey, you'll understand and
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
this.
kind of like a dry, I can say anything with a straight faced kind of sense of humor, and like I don't care what people think, this is funny to me.
Yeah,
And
that's
so just naturally, just like I like this guy a lot.
absolutely. I will not get offended by a joke. If it's a joke,
Yeah.
I know that some people, whatever, and that's fine.
Tommy's
But
an
for me,
acquired
if I know
taste.
you're joking and you say something like really stupid,
Yes.
it's probably funny.
Yeah, and I think most people now know us well enough to know, like, okay, these guys are just goofballs, and yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
But there's still some times where people like, get all angry and you like double down on the joke. That's how most people block me or I block them because it's like, dude, I've done the same joke 4 times and you don't get it that it's a joke. You don't have a sense of humor. We're never going to get along. And
Yeah.
if they didn't block me, I usually block them and then go back and after a couple months be like, why did I block this guy? Oh, I don't know. I'll delete it. So,
I don't know that I've ever blocked anyone.
man, I got called a disgusting pervert the other day
Okay, I'd block someone for
because I said he had a hate boner for me. And he was like, "We were just arguing rock and roll. Why do you have to say that?" I was like, "Cuz I'm on your side. I agreed with you and you're still yelling at me." Like, you want to fight on the internet. I could tell. I could smell my own. You have a hate
Yeah.
boner just like me. But I've kind of chilled on that. I try not to argue as much as like I make my point in a very silly way so people know like, oh, okay, I see where he's coming from, but he's not that serious about fighting. So that's kind of how I try to do it. It's just like, I'm going to be goofy but not mean. And whereas before, so here's the thing with MMOs, you basically had to have a forum presence online,
Oh
like
yeah.
the forums. In Star Wars Galaxies, I became one of the best forum trolls that had ever lived. And that's how I got popular. As like how I got popular on Twitter, people just thinking I'm funny and just seeing me
Yeah.
all the time. That's how I got popular on our server for Star Wars Galaxies, is I was just like a perfect forum troll. And you can't do stuff like that anymore. You can't say die in a fire. That was a go-to.
There
Uh
are so many things that you could say in 2005 that you can't say now, and I understand why. I
yes,
mean, the
yes.
context of the world we live in is so different. Um, but you're absolutely right. You could just bullshit and say, almost anything you wanted. No, no serious repercussions. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it was cancel culture didn't exist yet.
Well,
Um,
also, it wasn't the social media that was like, I want to be on social media to be social, and here's someone crapping on my face the whole time. So it wasn't constant. It was like, oh, I'm going to go to the Star Wars Galaxy forums, and oh, he's there, whatever. Close the laptop, go out to the bar, get hammered, and have fun and dance, all the time. So with the social media now, like it's hard because that's how people want to feel special is
yeah,
they go online and try to get affirmations from strangers or loved ones or their people they pick and choose. And if someone comes in and craps on that all the time, you can't escape from that as much because people don't want to detach from that. Where some of us, it's real easy to be like, yeah, whatever, I'm going to go do something else. Some people have that addiction to where they need that, and that was the difference. You'd be like, like, oh yeah, f you, f your mom, oh yeah, we'll go die in a fire, and you're like, yeah, I hope you kill yourself, and the next day you're like best buddies, just killing crate dragons on Tatooine.
yeah,
So
because
it's
you need a healer, and it's like, all
yeah,
right, well, that guy's a healer, so like, there's nothing I can do.
yeah. So it was just like that, and I don't miss it because I like things better now. Like I like being a troll, but like a goofy troll and not like
Right.
something that because I don't want to say like, oh, kill yourself because you reacted stupidly to this joke and then someone hurting themselves or being so depressed when they're reaching out and someone does that to them and then that's just not good for the mental state
Absolutely.
and the mental states have changed for people. Even if you were back then, like I get depressed all the time, like just no reason whatsoever. And I was depressed, in my 20s and, but not as bad. Or maybe I just don't remember it being as bad because I had World of Warcraft all the time to
Yeah.
just
You could
distract myself.
burn 8 hours and just be like,
Yeah.
"What?"
So, yeah, it's just, I like the world we're making now. I just wish we could find you know, I wish people could take things not so seriously and not be so divisive online. Really, that's it.
Yeah.
Brian, if you like Coke, I'm not going to hate you because I like Pepsi. You're Ford, I'm Chevy. You're Xbox, I'm PlayStation. Like those
I'm
things.
PlayStation, fuck you. No, but I
um,
think going back to what you were saying, I think that, the troll, has had to evolve. And I think that, comments you're making now to troll are probably a lot more intelligent than go die in a fire.
Yes.
And, you can't just say a stupid blanket statement and no one's going to pay attention to it. It's not going to stick. That it's not good if
Mhm.
and so you're having to evolve, and you have to be intelligent in your bullshit, or else it won't stick.
Yeah, yeah. So someone mentioned in the chat there, Graham Glasgow. He renegotiated his contract.
I saw that. Took
He
a
was
pay
from
cut.
like 9 million salary ish to like 3 million. So that's good. I thought he was a decent player. He did have injuries this year that kind of set him back, but our line took a step back this year versus last year, which was kind of a bummer. And we could get into that now, or we could just get into the Broncos later. It's up to you. What do you want? What
Let's
are you
just do the
feeling?
O line real quick, and then we'll just like kind of come
Okay.
back. So I think that last year, I don't know if there was huge difference between last year and this year, but I think the perception was very different. Number one, it's very hard to compare the two because we had two different quarterbacks, and I think that they kind of played a different game.
Mhm.
Drew was a little more mobile, so he could kind of mask things, and Teddy would not wait for plays to progress and hit a tight end for 3 yards, and that's fine.
I thought we were
Um,
talking about the offensive line here. Come on.
yeah, okay, so yeah, but Garrett Bowles was someone who had a great year last year, and I think he did okay this year too. But was last year Munchak's first year or second year?
It was
I think
his
we were.
first year last year. Or was it a second year?
I
You're
think it was
right.
the second
Your
last year.
second year,
We
yes,
were
because he
thinking
came on.
like his stuff is really coming together. He's starting to really. We were thinking that we were trending upwards a
Yes.
lot. Um, and now, so I guess Risner kind of had a worse year. I think Cushenberry
Yes,
had a better year, if you were
he
to ask
did.
me. Um,
Right tackle's just still a black hole of sadness.
Ow! It's been like
Since Orlando
forever.
Franklin, it's a dark
Yeah,
hole.
that's
That was 2014, by the way. That's 8 years ago since we had a decent right
yeah,
tackle. So yeah, last year we didn't have the crowd noise because there's no fans, and they also did the reduced holding calls.
yeah.
So
That helps
that's
Bulls a lot for
yes.
sure.
I will say I think Bowles is better this year, even though it seemed like he took a little bit of a step back. He was better, more solid this year than he was any time before besides last year, so he has made an improvement in my eye to where I'm like, I appreciate that. And maybe he can. It's like it looks like he is figuring things out a little bit
Mhm.
better. Cushenberry, I saw some reports where people are like, yeah, he played better, and it felt like he played better because last year was really bad. And we just had so many injuries this year and everyone's just swapping around. There's just no consistency. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping something happens there to where they solidify it. So whoever plays quarterback next year just doesn't get killed.
I think they're also in an interesting spot where they've got decent depth on the interior line, but like, Risner's taking a step back. Last night was hurt. Like, everyone loves Quinn Miners. I think he's awesome, but
Mhm.
pass protection is probably not his strong suit. But he would love to, bulldoze someone in the run game, as
Yep.
we have seen on like highlights. Like he's made highlights as an interior offensive lineman.
Yes.
Um, the
Yeah.
Moody, whatever is
He's
he's
he's a strong guy. I don't know
he's
if you
so
remember that.
strong. And
He was like one of those weight room, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do 50 reps at the combine, and yeah,
yeah.
so
So, and they're all likable dudes, I think.
mhm.
Risner grew up a Broncos fan and like is pretty. I'm not local to the area, but he seems like he does a great job locally.
Yes,
Quinn Miners is a fan favorite and probably will always be as long as he stays on the team. So it's kind of like we've got like four slightly above average interior offensive linemen, and only two of them guards. Only two of them can play at a time. So
yeah,
it's a weird position where I would trade four of them for two, Pro Bowlers
yeah,
and have those. Of course, injuries suck and whatever, but it's no. It seemed like we weren't all the offensive linemen. Me as an offensive lineman for the Broncos, weren't all hitting their peak at the same time.
yeah,
So that
for
was kind
sure.
of disappointing. You know, when the run game was working, it was like, all right, we can't. The right tackle would just, you know, here, go ahead.
Or yeah, the tight end that was supposed to chip doesn't chip, and then Melvin Gordon gets hit in the face,
Yeah, we're
loses
talking
the
offensive
football.
line, Tom. We're not talking about Noah Fant blocking.
um, so is that how you became a Bronco fan? You were just like 8, and then they won back-to-back Super Bowls, and you were just like, "This is amazing," or is there like a different reason
There's
for
a
that?
little bit more to it than that, but not much.
Okay,
So they were playing the Giants in the regular season, and I think the Broncos were 13-0.
yeah, we
And
lost.
the my dad and all of he's got 5 brothers, and they're all Giants fans, and they were all at the house. And I was 8 years old, and I was like, I'm gonna root for the other team.
It didn't go well that day because we did
But they won the
lose,
Super Bowl. So I
but we
was
won
like,
the
this
Super
is
Bowl.
so
Yeah,
easy.
yeah.
And then, you
Oh
know,
man,
I feel like I earned my stripes. You know, obviously that beginning period of time was great, but between Elway and Manning, there were some interesting years. I wouldn't trade being a Broncos fan for anything. I think it's right now it's kind of in a down period, but
yeah.
I think it's awesome. It's such a good franchise.
It really is, and this is the worst since like the '60s or late '60s, early '70s that the franchise has been in. So it just tells you something, like how spoiled Broncos fans are, and yeah, we are, and that's why 6 seasons of not going to the playoffs is crazy because
Yeah.
man, it just sucks. Yeah, Christopher, the sarcasm game is approved. He's also team PlayStation. I'm team game, whatever system makes you happy. If you like PC games, play PC. If you like Nintendo games, I don't care. I have
What
the
are you running for console office?
yes, I have an Xbox, a PlayStation, a Switch, and my laptop is a gaming laptop. So it's like I just want to game, and I want to game with everybody.
I love the
Like on
Switch.
Twitter, I just want to pump everybody up.
I think the
So
Switch is great, but I don't know why. Like I'm just wired as a PlayStation guy. Um, I never got. I think we had an Xbox 360 for a little bit, and you know, I preferred my PlayStation 3 at the time, and it largely just due to a function of games that I liked, I would get on PlayStation.
yep.
Um, I'll sit here and say that I think PlayStation's exclusive games are better.
Oh,
Um,
easily. You got
so
Halo versus a million other.
and I never got into Halo, and I don't like. I get that people love it.
Mhm.
I liked Call of Duty for a spell, but I'm over that
Yeah,
style of game. So
yeah. We used to play Halo. We'd get our Xbox consoles, plug it up, and we'd have 8 people on, 2 TVs playing, and we used to have a lot of fun. But yeah, going back to the like Final Fantasy Tactics, hanging out with your buddies. I was living with my cousin, who's my best friend, and we had a friend. He got kicked out of his place, and he moved in. He's another like best friend. We each had our own TV in the living room with our own PlayStation, and we all 3 would be playing the same damn game. Whether it was Final Fantasy Tactics, and I think it was Chrono Cross before our buddy, we had to kick him out for being gross. But yeah, we would all just be playing the same game, like different points, but like TV's like turned away so you couldn't really see each other or spoil it. But it was one of those like silent brotherhoods, like we're all having beers or drinks and we're all playing, not like ignoring each other, but just having like the best
yeah,
fun. So
dude,
yeah.
we would have me and my brother, one of his friends, one of my friends. We all played EverQuest, so they'd bring their PlayStations over, and a little small
Mm-hmm.
24-inch TV, and we would set up. And me and my buddy Bryan used to have like the best system ever because I go to bed early. Like 10:30 is like kind of late for me, and he's a night owl, so he would stay up until like 4 o'clock, and then I would get up and start playing. So our characters were just like 3-day weekends like that.
Yeah.
We just didn't log off, like
Yeah.
to a point where like our guild was like, we don't even think Lithlin exists. We just think it's you, because he was more quiet. I'm
Yeah.
always chatty and stuff, and
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
We also
That's
used to do like a Madden franchise draft, and you all get in the same division, and that way you can, you just sim through every other game except for when you're playing each other. And that was fun.
Yeah, that does. My friends never really got into the sports game, so most of my gaming was kind of solo gaming. There was a time there with the MMOs, my buddies would be playing that and we'd play. And then, yeah, like the little PlayStation and then the Xbox, the first Xbox with the Halo, we would
Hmm.
play that. And Halo 2, I played online with a buddy a lot. We were trying to grind, multiplayer score, and that was fun for us. But ever since then, it's mostly solo. Did you ever play Hades on Switch? Did I talk to you about that? Did you get
You
that?
talked to me about it, and I did the thing where I was like, I want to play it. I'm gonna get it. And then you talked to me about it for a little bit, and then you realized that I wasn't gonna get it. Um, but it does look like a very fun game, and I think it was only like $30, so it is
Yeah.
probably something I will not definitely, but maybe definitely get. Because it's just like you play through the story, and then you kind of just start over and redo everything, but with your new abilities instead of armor or whatever.
Yeah. It's a roguelite, roguelike, both terms apply. Yeah, you have your character and you go through these little levels, you choose your path, you die, you start all over again, but there's like a little side leveling up thing that you get by
Right.
unlocking certain things, so you get stronger and stronger, more abilities. Um, can't recommend that game. I mean, one of the best games I've played in the last 20 years, in all honesty. So if anybody's out there, you have a Switch, Hades, it's an amazing game. Greek mythology, it's hilarious. It's really good. You think it's kind of like a twitchy, actiony game. It's really not. You just got to get the hang of the game, and then you're like, okay, I can beat it almost every time now. But then you can make it difficult after you beat the game. They're like,
Right.
here's this, alter the game as much as you want to like challenge yourself, and you're like, well, this is cool, like how hard can I make it? So that's something that's appreciative in a game. It's like when they're like, we want you to play this game forever, but we're going to make it so you actually can, like Final Fantasy Tactics. Do I want to do the calculator thing where or do I
That's what I'm
want some
doing on my
ninjas?
file right now, and it's like I've got a calculator and a dancer, and I feel like I'm just like, can you have two of those weird classes? I used to just be like, let me power through, Lancer, a monk, and a ninja, and then you get, Orlando, who's like a cheat code. He
Yeah,
like
dude,
I want
freaking.
to. I could never do it, but just like a game without Orlando, a playthrough. But he's just like so
It's insane.
ridiculous.
Oh man. Um, so what do you want to talk about?
More Final Fantasy Tactics, Tom.
Go ahead. Like I said, I haven't played it probably 10 plus years, so I'm like way out of it. I don't remember. I remember how fun it was to get Cloud. That was always
Yeah,
fun. Because it was just like, oh,
yeah, because there were
cool.
side little secret missions that you could do.
Yep.
Um, Another thing I'm trying to do on my current files, like, if you go into the tavern and you have the rumors and you send your guys away
Yep.
and get the treasure hunter stuff, like it does nothing. But I'm just sitting there for like 20 minutes, like, all right, gotta like travel back and forth so 14 days cross so I can go pick up my crew again.
Yep.
And it does nothing for my characters at all. So I don't know
No.
why, but it's just one of those things that I've never done. So it's like, I'll try it.
But it actually you unlock like the secret dungeon by doing all those.
I don't. Oh, I think that like what
I think so.
there's one. It's one tavern that you do it. I can see it on the map. It's that bottom one with the little tail that comes out.
Yeah.
But that secret dungeon was awesome, and you had the strategy guide, so you knew
Yeah.
exactly where to go for move, find items, and everything. And
That was a second playthrough. To be fair, like we would buy the Prima guides and we'd be like, okay, it's not gonna look at it till we beat the game. And then our second playthrough, which started immediately after, was like page one.
yeah,
And then, Game Facts, basically, the one of the earliest gaming websites that I remember bookmarking, game FAQs. I just call it Game Facts. I was like, I don't need pre-guides anymore. These idiots online do it for me. So So we got someone second base. Hi there. I used to do Call of Duty Hardcore. Now only gaming I really do is Fortnite with my twins. Sports games aren't the same as they used to be. I'm
Oh,
not a fan of
Sean.
the career storylines. Oh, hey Sean, what's up, man?
I
Yeah,
played Fortnite a lot for a spell when it first came out. So I was playing I moved down here, so like a lot of my friends, and I really only play video games with my brother's friends just because they're playing the same games as
yeah,
I. Um, but we played a lot of Destiny 1, and then once
love that
Fortnite came
game.
out, we did not like Destiny 2 for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Once Fortnite came out, it was just like get home from work, take care of my needs, and Fortnite until my eyes bleed. And
Yeah.
I don't even know why. It was just so much fun. And it's just sitting there talking with your buddies. I mean, that's what it was for me.
Mhm.
They're very good at video games. I'm like, okay.
I'm
Um,
an okay gamer on most things.
yeah, I'm
Sometimes
not
I'm
afraid
bad,
to admit
sometimes
it.
I'm pretty
I'm
good.
just okay.
Yeah. I am not the worst, like if you bring me and I'm the worst, we're gonna do well.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
know my
tell people.
limits, and I think that's important as the worst person in a group. I'm not gonna bring the group down.
Yeah.
Um, if I'm not gonna go out and die, so they have to sacrifice themselves for me. I'll protect
Mhm.
myself, so if they die, I can try and get them.
Yeah, Sean, the building. When it became popular with streamers, I like to watch Twitch and Anthony Kong fan and Grims and Dr. Disrespect at the time and Vis were like my guys that I watched. They're all like first person shooter guys and they would all like play together. So it was I'd watch them play Player Unknown's Battleground, PUBG, and
Mhm.
then they went to Fortnite. And it was like Fortnite's free if you just download it. And I was like the multiplayer stuff, not the zombie defense, which it
Right.
originally was. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna play it. And I was just like, oh, I got top 10 once. I am really bad at this. And just never played it again. But that's how my niece kind of got with her fiance is she came up for her 18th birthday. We were celebrating her and trying to have fun, she's 18. We'll take her out. She wanted to get her hair done and a tattoo. So it's like, okay, whatever. We did that for her and she stayed in our guest room, which I had my Xbox. And she's like, oh, well, I want to play Fortnite. One of my brother's friends likes Fortnite. And that's ended up being her fiance. She was just staying up playing Fortnite on my
Hell
Xbox.
yeah.
She friended him and then I went to go play my Xbox. I was like, "Who's this asshole?" and deleted him. And now
He's,
I
like,
feel
sending
bad.
you messages.
He's like, well, no, he's like family now. But I like deleted him like the day she left off my friends list because I was like, I don't some boy she's talking to. Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's just gross. So we're
So do
not
you have
doing.
any tattoos? You said she got a tattoo. You have any
She did.
tats?
I do not. I don't want tattoos. I just something about it just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
And it really upset my younger brother and my oldest brother because when our other brother died, I designed the tattoo to honor him that we're all supposed to get. And
Mhm.
then things kind of happened, and I was like, no, I'm not getting it. And then they got so mad at me because they
But
both
did they
got it.
both get it?
Yeah. Yeah, they both got it. And I didn't like design it. I was just like, here's the idea that I think we should do. And they altered it to fit their
Right.
style and personality a little bit more. But yeah, they got so mad at me. And I was like, I don't even have one. Why
Yeah.
do you think I was gonna get a tattoo that's like 8 inches by 4 inches somewhere on my body
That's all
to
I
honor
ask.
the
I do not
brother
have
that didn't
any.
like
I
me at
know
all?
it's been a topic in our group chat.
Yeah, lots of tattoos. Jamie and I think Chris talk about tattoos that they're gonna get here soon. Yeah, it's kind of.
Was it R. Shelton just got that sick lighthouse one that he was showing off, and I
Oh
was like,
yeah, I
that
did see
is
that.
so cool.
Yes.
Um, I saw that um, JB Old Town Cards had just kind of done like the start of a sleeve, which looks sick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then another one I saw recently on Twitter, Squid's cards or Squid.
Squid. Yeah,
He's got
good
an
guy.
awesome Pokemon one. Like it looks insane. Like the guy has done the coloring of Charmander, Bulbasaur, Venusaur, not Venusaur, Squirtle,
Mhm.
and there's like kelp and like little bubbles and like he hasn't colored in the bubbles yet, so you kind of just see the skin. It like He's got
He's so
phenomenal tattoo
yeah.
artists.
Yeah, he went viral with that Pokemon, like, sweatshirt or something he had a while
Oh, that
back.
was crazy. He had like
Yeah.
80,000 likes on
I'm
that.
so jealous of that, but, like, not really, because 'cause you're like, "That's just so cool that see your friend have something like that go crazy." You're just like,
I
"That is
looked for
awesome."
that for the sweatshirt for a little bit because I was like, "That's very cool." And then
Yeah.
I found them, and then I was like, "Oh, well, it's $60." Well, I'll always have the tweet that I like.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just buy the new Pokemon on Switch for less than that and probably
Right?
get more enjoyment
There's
out of
one
it.
coming out soon, I think, that I'm gonna get. I haven't played one in a long time.
I got the, Let's Go Eevee, the one that was basically the remake of the first game,
Yeah, but with
and
Eevee, yeah.
yeah, because 'cause it's got the original 150, and that's what I'm most comfortable with. Thankfully, Pokemon Go, playing that has, like, helped me see a little bit more of the other Pokemon and get used to them because I was really, like, one of those, like, it's not one of the 151, Kanto
Same.
region or whatever, like,
Samesies.
"Get out of here, I don't care, I'm not gonna play this game, I don't even know what these are, these look stupid." But now
Yeah,
I'm like, "Yeah, they look cool."
yeah. Sean said here he designed a tattoo after his dad passed away and then told his brother, and the next week his brother got it, so he never ended up getting it. So it sounds like his brother jacked his tattoo idea.
That is messed up. Um, that's another thing. Like tattoo people are very like, hey, it's my tattoo. You can't have anything like that. But then there's some people that are like, I like that tattoo. I'm gonna copy your tattoo. And it just feels weird to me. Like you're gonna get the same tattoo as someone else. But like mine, I have two nieces, different. I have tons of nieces, but they're sisters and they got like the same tattoo. It's like birds that look like books down their like arm a little bit, just a little black thing, kind of mystical, witchy, Harry Potterish type little thing, and like little quotes and stuff. So I mean that's cool. Getting the same tattoo as someone like that, like your best friend or like a sister or someone that's been that important to you and always will, I can,
Yeah,
yeah, but not like your girlfriend, maybe not even your wife, like
yeah.
those things happen. You don't want the same tattoo.
It's permanent.
Yeah. So I need to,
Oh, I gotta
I,
show you mine.
okay.
I'm
Tramp
just kidding.
stamp. I
I do
I
not
thought you
have
were gonna show me your
fancy
butthole, and I
tattoos.
was like, "Please don't. We'll get banned from all the." This is all I have. Brian is my show. Don't steal my show. Um, I am gonna do a Thursday night, so 2 days. I put the little poll up, had some PC
Oh, the
items that
show
I
and tell, but I
yes,
call it show and tell in my head. Did you call
yeah.
it that, or is that a corny thing to call it?
No, it's just my PC show. So PC show and tell. It was basically stuff I grabbed to save from the fire when we had to like load up, and I brought it in. I was like, I'm gonna take pictures and like, who wants me to talk about what? And the Nintendo games won. Surprisingly, I thought people would be more into the cards or the Star Wars, but just a little
I
NES
voted
thing I
Star
have.
Wars.
I'm gonna get through all of them eventually, but I was just like trying to get some, interaction, see what people wanted. And this is the first time I've really talked a lot of video games with someone, and it feels really good because video games might be my number one passion. Like I started video games when I was like 2. My dad had an Atari, and I just been in my life longer than cards, comics,
Yeah.
movies, anything really. So
I was actually just talking to Jamie from our group, and I was telling him that when I was growing up, I was very young, and we got the Nintendo Entertainment System for Christmas. My brothers and I, um, and my parents sat up and played it all night long. So like when we came down for Christmas, they were still playing like Mario.
yeah,
I was like, that's
that's
such a
awesome.
fun, video games, I think, for everyone if you find what works for you. And,
Mhm.
you don't have to be sitting there playing ultra competitive Call of Duty. There's so many different, uh, Lindsay plays Red Dead Redemption 2 a lot because she loves horses. And she's like, they do such a good job with the horses. You can
Do
customize
they
them.
though? Like, man, I don't know if they fixed it, but I would just be riding. Like, I'm
Oh,
feeling
when you
good.
jump over like a rock that's like a
And then
little
your
bit too
horse
big.
shoots like 500 yards that way, and you shoot 100 yards that way, and you're just like, they just launched my horse in the moon, man, and it's dead. Like, this is jacked up, and I haven't saved in 3 hours.
They've
Like,
got, and she has not done this, but they've got like Reddit groups where they do just trail rides on Red Dead. And they just, a group of people are just like, let's go slow pace through the mountains. And that's
that
just
would be
what they do.
fun.
And I'm like, that's someone not playing competitive Call of Duty that is loving
Exactly.
video games.
But that's what I like,
Yeah.
it's not about winning, it's about, like, if there's fishing in any video game, I'm gonna fish, like, because I told you I love fishing and I love fish. I'm gonna fish in that video game till I get sick of it. And so it's like those little side things where you could just relax but still play, but you're not trying to murder a
Yeah.
hundred people. It's like it's fun and it's just like a nice break. The unplugged controller,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a
We never
classic.
we never really did that. We would let people play. Um, I'm not going to talk too much about the Nintendo thing because I want to save it for the next show with my wife. But
Right.
yeah, the first one, my dad bought the consoles for himself and was like, "It's mine, so I make the rules," and that's it. But then after that, I bought all my own, so it was like, you can't tell me what to do with my stuff. You can ground me and make me not play it, but you can't make me share it or give it or
Right.
do anything. Like, oh, I'm grounded from the Super Nintendo. Well, packing it up. No one else
Yeah.
can
Well,
touch
you can't play
it.
either, bitch.
But yeah, my dad loved the simplicity of it. And I'll talk about that. But he would game with my brothers and I all the time. We'd rent a lot of games. We were mostly renters. And then every now and then, Christmas, you get a game, maybe your birthday. So
Yeah.
it was fun.
Two things. Just a random great video game memory popped into my head. Watching my older brother play the first Resident Evil when I was like 6 years old and just
Oh,
like
so
shitting my
fun.
pants
We would,
was the epitome of horror. And I love Resident Evil games.
me too.
I need to play Village. I played like the demo of it. I thought
I
I
need
had
to
a good
play
time with that.
everything after 3.
Yeah.
I want to say I think I played Code Veronica because I do have a Dreamcast, but I never beat it because I ran out of ammo and I was like, this sucks.
Oh my god, I had a save file. One of my friends makes fun of me because like we'll get drunk and we'll be talking about Resident Evil, and I'll be like, Petrie, like I was at the main boss and all I had was a grenade launcher. He's just like, no, he just mocks me and says that.
Yeah. We used to, my buddy had it for PlayStation. I didn't own the first one because I borrowed it from him. And
Mhm.
when 2 came out, I bought 2 and I bought 3 and I love 2, probably my favorite. 1's a lot of fun, but yeah, we would like have a Resident Evil party. We would like hang out at his house, turn all the lights off, have like a couple of us and then like a couple random gals that would just show up and
You had random gals at your Resident Evil parties?
yeah, because we thought it would be funny when like the giant spider falls off the roof or the dogs crash through the doors to watch them squeal. And it was usually our other friend Dan that was doing it and screaming because he hated spiders. But yeah, like beers, drinks, whatever, lights off, watching Resident. See, that's the thing. Like, yeah, Twitch is so popular, and people are like, how dare you? Like, why do people watch people play games where they could be playing it? It's like, don't you remember? Like, there was only one controller in a lot of games, and you would just
Yeah.
watch your buddies play, and it was fun, like to just be a part of that. Like,
I had a friend in college who, and college like from what 2008 to 2012 was very like Call of Duty, that whole style.
because
Um, he didn't
that's
like
when
to
the
play.
Modern Warfare came out. I think.
Oh, Modern Warfare 2. I loved Modern Warfare 2 because I had a Tuesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. So I would get back at 9:45 and just the competition level at 9:45 a.m. was so low that I could just
You're
like,
wasting housewives, man.
yeah. And then like my friends would be playing at like 7 p.m. I'd be like, no, not for me.
See, that's the funny thing to bring up about Dark Age of Camelot. The greatest like PvPer or the person with the most kills was a housewife because she would play all day and rack up the most kills. She played like a support class, and yeah, she was like the greatest, and she was on my server on the opposite side. I killed her once, and I thought it was pretty sweet. But yeah, that's like when you found that out, you're like, well, that makes a lot of sense. She's got like 8 hours a day to just
Yeah.
grind, man.
My friend's mom, the best GoldenEye player that I have ever seen, she, can beat it on 007 mode just like no problem. Because
Mhm,
I don't know how much she played. I assume a lot, but you know, playing GoldenEye single player, you just got to memorize where the people are, get the headshots, and she
mhm.
just crushed it. So we would just go over and like watch her play sometimes. And it was like, holy shit.
Did you ever find in multiplayer? Did you have a kid that knew the respawn pattern for multiplayer on every level?
No, I don't think that
Okay.
I was old enough to be advanced enough for that.
We had one of those guys come over one night. It was like a cousin of a friend, because he was like, "Oh, you guys play this all the time? My cousin plays this. Let's bring him over." And man, I kid you not, just like boom, next spawn level, boom, boom. It's like this is not fun at all. And thankfully, I got like 4 kills on him because I was able to like spawn juke well enough to get by. It did better than anyone else, but it was just like, man, this sucks. Spawn camping, which I've still happen in Call of Duty. I think you could still predict the pattern of where people would spawn in Modern
There's
Warfare or something.
anytime you have something like that, there's gonna be those people that like, and I don't think it. Yes, Sean, SOCOM 2 is the best game of all time.
I played the
Hello to
first
our
one.
guest. She just brought me a drink.
Awesome. Hi, Lindsay. Um,
But
which one was
anytime you
SOCOM
get a
again?
game that's competitive like that, you're gonna get people that want to be the best, even
Yeah.
though that like, and I, play the right way. They play like they're not cheating, but it's like so weirdly almost cheating that it's like, how do you get joy and satisfaction out of
Yeah, it's
playing
not
that way?
fun. Just winning is not fun. Was SOCOM the one with the voice command that came with the headset, or was
Yeah,
it?
that was one of the first
I
voice
hated that game.
commands.
I
My
hated that game so much.
that online mode was like, it wasn't, Call of Duty's like you can respawn and shit.
Mm,
SOCOM was like 6v6, like if you die, you're done. So you had to
yeah,
like
like a
really,
Rainbow Six type little player
yeah,
versus player thing. Yeah.
that
Um,
was such a fun game.
I tried to play the single player, where you use the voice command, and it was like, okay, like move up, and then the command be like, can you repeat that? Move up. Confirm, going cowboy. And then my
Confirm.
teammates would just like start blasting. You're like, what the hell? I didn't say go cowboy. So that became a running joke in our gamer group, is because we all tried to play that, and like it didn't understand us. The voice commands didn't understand us. So no matter what happened, the AI would just be like, all right, we're going
All
cowboy, which
right,
just
going
meant
cowboy.
we're not sneaking anymore. We're just going out guns a-blazing. And so, yeah, we would say that. We still say that every now and then, like, all right, I'm going cowboy, cover me, and they know, like, oh, there he goes, the asshole Tom. Um,
That's rich.
oh, man. Yeah. So yeah, it's just the video games. It's a social thing. And that's why I like it. Even though
Did
when
you
you,
play Animal Crossing on Switch ever?
no, that's a job, man. And
Yeah,
I'd rather
see,
play a
we got
fantasy.
addicted to that at the start of COVID.
My boss
Um,
plays that. She got addicted to it off her husband's Switch, and he bought her own Switch so he could have his back so he could play Zelda.
Zelda on Switch is an insane game.
Well, he's a super Zelda fan, so he got the Breath of the Wild, but then he bought like the island one that they remade. He bought
Yeah.
that, and then the Skyward Sword that they remade, he bought that. So he's been like just Zelda the last year, pandemic wise. So yeah. Um, what else we got going on? We're not doing very well on our bingo. Should we start that back up, or should we just keep talking
I do
stuff that
want to
makes us
shout
happy?
out one more video game,
Go ahead. Sorry. Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yes, I watched someone play that. Beautiful looking game.
Tom, I played for 82 hours over like a month, and like I would think to myself, like as I approach this group of Mongols, I'm like, will this ever get old? And then like I get up there and I'm like, no.
Yeah, that game looks beautiful. It's kind of a Dark Souls, right? So it's hard, or like you have to know the moves or something, or counter attack, which I'm not good at. I'm a button masher, so
I'm a button masher. This is the first like kind of in-depth combat game that I ever took the time to learn how to play. And it's complex. I've never played Dark Souls, so I don't know that, but it's very, you gotta dodge, you gotta parry, and you gotta time your attacks. You gotta find out their patterns, and if you don't, like the AI will, some of the mobs, not like the standard ones, like they'll mess you up if you don't, know what you're doing.
yeah.
Um, that game was so much fun. But let's do some hobby bingo.
Okay,
Um,
because we got to get that going. We need 100. I don't think we're going to get 100 in this show. Maybe we will, but
we can just
uh,
keep building on it. We can do,
yeah,
10 and then do something else.
yeah.
Um,
So hobby sayings.
it doesn't have to just be sayings, it can be happenings. I think
How about a crack a slab fail? That's a good hobby bingo. When someone tries to cross over and it goes to a PSA 3 from a CSG 9.5.
are you adding cards max?
Yeah. No, but that is a good one because you see that all the time. So
Yeah.
like
And
slab
yeah, and
crack
it's
fail.
not, super common. I think I don't know what happened with that card. I feel so bad. I love cards max. I don't know what
He's
happened.
such a nice guy. Yeah, I felt bad. I was just like, because people are like, "Oh, that's not the same card. He switched it out," and that's why you see me on that thread asking for like pictures of the back or
Yeah.
the number of the slab because I was like, "Look, guys, it is the same card. It looks like there might be a little more damage on the second picture, maybe from
He
when he cracked it, but
Nat
not."
Turner, I don't know, he's, like, part of the ownership group, like, was responding to him and said, like, "Send it in, I'd love to look at it," like,
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. Nat Turner's very, involved in hobby Twitter. Someone Bol price is doubling. I think anyone's prices doing something outlandish after, like, a good meaningless performance is a good
not even a
one.
meaningless performance, but yeah, just like he got traded and he's just playing in a game for 5 minutes and his prices are double. Someone posted a Bobo lot in one of the group chats I'm in, and it was like $150 for like 4 graded Bobo rookies. I was like, I would pay 15.
Yeah,
Like
like,
not
some
150. I'd pay 15
jeez.
bucks for that. Like if someone had like Drew Lock, 4 Drew Lock slabs, like and they wanted $150 for it, I'd be like, no, I'll pay 15 bucks for it. Like I'm not an idiot. Um uh
I
Man,
think
Drew
another
Lock.
good one, Comp Police.
Yes.
That's
Comp
it
policing.
happens enough, and I think it's funny. I think the qualifications for this is, if you've got bingo, you've gotta send, screenshots to, you've
Yeah.
gotta screenshot your 5.
Yeah, that way we can verify.
I feel like I had some good ones, but I was actively trying not to think of. I told you this. I
So
was
we
like,
could
"I
save it,
don't
yeah.
want to think of these."
And I had them
Um,
too, and I'm like, that was 5 days ago, and I can't remember what happened at work
yeah, I
today.
I was
That
like, "Oh, this
was
is a
4
no-brainer.
hours
It'll
ago.
be back in my brain. No problem. It's gone forever."
Yeah, it's gone. I'm seriously drawing a blank on a lot of these.
Um,
Um, how about a JB owns PSA
yeah,
as
that's a
one of them?
classic.
Yeah,
JB works for PSA tweet.
yeah.
How about, did you see in our group chat where our buddy John got a nice Zach Wilson autograph card
Oh, the
that he paid
PWE.
$100 for, and someone sent it into PWE?
Yes, yes. Yeah, let's do something like that. What would that would just be, yeah, PWE on an
Just
expensive
like
card.
in horrible shipping, because you see it, whether it's like one of my
A
buddies had
huge
one.
box that just has the card chucked into it, like no
Yeah,
padding.
insufficient shipping method. Another one, someone complaining about a break they were in where, like, not all the cards ship.
Yes, that's just know what you're getting. I go both ways. Sometimes I don't want the base. Sometimes I do want the base, but I will find a breaker that fits my needs for the product, you know? Like, hey, I don't want a bunch of regular tops base. I'm going to go with someone that's going to ship just the hits or the numbers or whatever. Or, oh, hey, I do want the Bowman base. I'm going to go with someone that, ships all that. So, you
So
just got to find your
here
right.
is something that I saw last year that I thought was interesting. I think it was like Top Series 1, and it was like a case break. So there's a lot of cards. You're looking for the rookies, you're, you know, looking for specific cards. What they did with the base not important cards, just randomize, give so I get 30 base cards, and it's,
Just random. Yep.
Whit Merrifield, Albert Pujols, just 30 random cards instead of
Yep.
like 6 Albert Pujols, just like
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, there's ways to do it, but just know what you're buying into and don't get mad when you buy
yeah.
into something and it's not what you want.
And as long as breakers got to be upfront about what they're doing as well.
Exactly.
I
Yeah, they
think
need to
that's
list
big.
like, "Hey, we only ship rookies." Well, the group breaker I've used the most, Ultimate Box Breaks, UBB, I haven't broke with them in a while. Zion Chase with my brother last 2 years ago was the last time I bought with them. But before that, it was like 2016. But they don't ship base; they ship like rookies,
Yeah.
and number cards, parallels, all that stuff, and they donate the base to Children's Hospital, or so it's like with them that you're never going to get any base.
Yeah.
So it makes it easy. But yeah, they have to be upfront. And if they're not upfront, then you need to not buy from them ever again. And you need to be like, hey, man, like, why didn't you tell me you weren't shipping this? And if it's on their website and you didn't see it, it's your fault. But
Yeah. I think a
yeah,
lot of people in this atmosphere are just so used to just wanting to click and get it. And it's just like, sometimes on these things you might not be getting what you think you're getting.
yeah,
Um, if you want base cards and they say you're buying into this break for this team, you're getting this, this, and this. We do not ship base cards, like, and you click buy now, maybe your fault.
yeah, it's on you. Don't go blasting them on Twitter. Um, unless they ship poorly, then
Yeah, oh yeah.
screenshot
Then
that and send it
I
to
think
Bryan so we
so.
can
There's
bingo.
definitely there's like a fine line between like a transgression that should be handled privately and like, hey man, I think this, versus just like blasting someone.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I love being the third party to that because I'm just like, blast them. Fucking just,
I choose violence.
yes, all the time. If it doesn't involve me,
Exactly. I like chaos and I like starting shit.
absolutely, yeah, we're
And
agents of
egging
chaos.
people on. It's fun. Yeah. Yeah. Especially with like when I'm not involved in Discord. Man, I hate Discord. How do you feel about Discord? You in any Discords? You do any stuff like that? The
I'm
app?
in like a couple of Discords, but I really pay attention to two. And I've got it's like one of them is like uh Papillon's kind of group.
Hmm.
So he's got there's 4 or 5 breakers. It's Papillon, his very close longtime friend Enzo, um, Hunt, Thundercats cards, and my good friend Cowtown Collects, aka Donnie.
Hmm.
They're all wonderful people, and it's just like they harbor a great atmosphere. Even though breaks aren't always happening, just conversations happening. There's a gaming chat in there. They're all playing Rust right now, which I've never played, but apparently it's like a survival type game.
Yeah, it's just survival. Yeah, watched a lot of people play it. It's not for
Yeah,
me.
it seems like I would like be away for a day and like my base would get ransacked, and I'd be like, well,
I deserve it.
so I've met a lot of good people in there.
Nice.
And then I'm in this other one that is kind of like it's based around like Pokemon cards. And they're the actually only other people that I've met in real life. Um, Hokey Porter and his brother Stoge P. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I just read. Do you have a thing where you just like read things and that's how it is in your head? So even when
Yes.
you hear the pronunciation,
You're like, that's wrong.
Like
You're
Ivan's
saying your
name.
name wrong.
Like Ivan's name for me is gonna be Yvonne. Like when I meet him, I'm gonna fuck it up so bad.
See,
Hey
that's
Yvonne, he's gonna be like, I'm Ivan.
yeah, I had an employee named Yvonne. So, I was like, oh, hey, Ivan. And he's like, no, it's Yvonne. I was like, okay. And then I never had a problem with it.
Yeah.
But then I would still see people like have an issue with it over and over and over again. It's like, you've never read his name. Like,
Yeah.
you just saw it. Maybe like you saw his name tag. You're like, oh, you're Ivan. No, it's Yvonne. He's Hispanic, So it's like, yeah, no, totally get it. I'm really bad about that sometimes. Like, yeah, I will pronounce something and make a decision, and that's how it's going to be forever. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to die on that hill.
There's it's not Discord related, but it's like group chat related. Large like our cardboard connection,
Yeah.
aka Jennifer, aka whatever it is that day.
Yeah.
There's one where it's just like all about food and it's fucking awesome. It's just like hobby people posting about food.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people are just like, oh, here's what I got at this restaurant or here's what I cooked. And it's just, I love food.
I do too. I love cooking shows. I have I'm a super smeller, and I have a very strong sense of smell, which means I have a very strong sense of taste, which means I taste food better than most people, and that's why everything is dookie.
Why you
Fish
can't
is
cook for
super
shit.
fishy for me, and it needs to be really mild. There's some exotic stuff. I love spicy. I don't know why
Yeah.
like spicy doesn't bother me as much, but the funky stuff, super funky for me. So that's why sometimes it's an adventure to find. I try stuff all the time. I've tried sushi and I've tried all this stuff and I just don't like it, but I'll try it, but I'm usually like, I just want
Yeah. I think I'm
American
in the
food.
camp of like, if it's not a super strange food item, I would love to, if it's something that someone eats as a normal part of their diet, why wouldn't I try and eat it? Because
Mhm.
it's not going to do me any harm. Textures probably is something that would weird me out over taste.
Yes, that's why I don't like beans. It's like little craps in my mouth, man. I'll hummus. I can eat hummus, because it doesn't have that like bean explosion in your
Yeah.
mouth, so it's like yeah, it has the garbanzo beans and the tahini mixed together. Yeah, that's beans. I'm
Do
eating
you
beans, but
know the difference between a garbanzo bean and a chickpea?
they're the same thing. Well, tell me.
I've never had a garbanzo bean on my face.
I see what you did there. I appreciate it. Because I'm like, I'm a food guy. The damn cans say garbanzo beans / chickpeas. They're the same thing, but no, I
Has anyone
appreciate
ever
that
used
joke.
the restroom mid-show before?
No, go ahead. I could carry if
May
you
I
need to
take
go. Yeah,
40
go ahead.
seconds?
Yeah, I'll hype up my show. So while Brian's taking a pee break, because we are going to probably talk forever, because he's one of my best friends. Yeah, just a reminder, my wife will be joining me Thursday's show. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about my Nintendo games as my show and tell for my personal collection, my private collection, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to talk about, her and how we met maybe and what she has going on. She's listening right now. She's in the kitchen. So I got to be careful what I say. She's going to heat some stuff up, which is fine because Brian's gone to the bathroom. So I'm just solo chatting to carry the show. Yeah, and she's got a project she wants to work on, and I just kind of want to. And she texted me like, "What do you mean you're going to push me?" Well, it's like I want to not push her like in a negative way, but like hey, social media, Twitter, because she uses Instagram and Facebook, it's to get her more Twitter presence and to like show her that my wife that this online video stuff is not as scary as it seems. So that's going to be the goal for Thursday's show. So I hope you tune in because it's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little fun.
Lady Catherine Thursday?
Yes. I was just telling everyone she's got a project she wants to do. It's kind of like a blog series, and she's been doing a lot of research on it. And I mentioned in my tweet that I was going to try to push her, and she texted me like, "What do you mean push me?" I was like, "Well, you don't use Twitter. You know, people are following you, and when I mention you, and you know, there's some awesome people that follow you, so we could start this. My show can be a start to help build that audience and get you to interact more on Twitter, just so you're used to that." Because a lot of Twitter is really great for talking, but then also show her like it's not scary to be on YouTube. It's not scary to have your own little show. The key is just to do it. I'm clearly not qualified to be
I just peed live on air.
yeah,
Like, it's fine.
chickpeas. um, yeah, we'll talk food in a minute, but how's our hobby thing going? Maybe we should one of the bingo cards, because you see this frequently, is someone complaining about someone blocking them. I do this sometimes where you just post a screenshot of like
I'm
your
blocked.
tag.
Can't see this.
Yes, yes. But usually it's because someone tags me and I'll just take a screenshot and be like, sorry, they blocked me, which has been beneficial to me because then that person will reach out to the other person, be like, why did you block Tom? And then they'll be like, I can't remember. And then they're like, well, I'm blocked. And then we'll like instantly follow each other and they'll interact. We'll be like, why did we block each other? Like,
Yeah.
it's been 2 years. Who knows? So
I think this is going to be tough for us to do because anything that we bring up, we're going to go, there's a tangent and a reason behind it. So, like, it's just going to be constant, going off on little stories. I think that might be difficult. Maybe we just DM each other a bunch of stupid shit for like a couple weeks and then just do a rapid fire episode where it's like 20 minutes and we just like read off the official hobby bingo card. And then
yes.
We'll in the meantime we'll find a way to randomize it and get we need people.
Yeah.
And we need a prize. So
we should also, while we're just doing this, like building up the 100, have people send us them, because if it's easier when other people do the work.
yeah.
Come up with our own while we build it, but ask for some, and then we could tell we can use them or we can not use them, but
absolutely
we can refine them. So yeah, let's put this on the back burner and let's talk about food. What food are you most passionate about?
Wow. There are two foods that are very close to my heart. And I don't know which order to say them in. So I'm going to go with
chicken wings, because
no, that
right
would be
to
number
the heart,
3.
right there. Yeah.
Chicken wings would be number 3. The two foods that I'm most passionate about, and I think chicken wings are the reason why they're number 3. I think I'll back into my top 2.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken wings are chicken wings, and I there's not. You can sauce them. There's only so many things you can do with them. They're very limited. I love chicken wings. They're phenomenal, but they are chicken wings.
Chicken and sauce. And yeah, there's 1,000 sauces, but you're not going to like 1,000 sauces.
But
you're
you can also integrate
1,000
thousands of sauces into my top 2. I think pizza is just the most brilliant food of all time.
Yes.
The second most brilliant food of all time. You've got the bread, you've got sauce, which is very important, and cheese. Who doesn't love cheese unless you're lactose intolerant?
Yeah, then rip.
And then it's a blank canvas for whatever you want to put on it. My first job, I worked at a regional pizza chain it's in like Maryland and Virginia, and it's called Lido Pizza. And I worked my way up. I was the dishwasher. And then I literally, like, my second role there was to just mix the dough, which just entails like taking screaming hot water and mixing it with oil and flour.
You were a kneader?
And then I worked at a Pizza Hut for a long time. So, and that's shitty. Pizza Hut is like shitty pizza.
I like Pizza Hut though, for whatever reason. That's my preferred chain. I think because I grew up with it, and it has
that's nostalgia.
That canned tomato sauce that I like. That's
I started to like make my own pizza, and I'm just super passionate about pizza. Frankie Pet is super passionate about pizza as well. I've gone back and forth with him a few times. I actually found him, not found him, was became familiar with him from one of employee 84's contests.
Is he the guy that does the TikTok cooking stuff?
Frankie, yeah. Oh my God, his voice, dude,
Where,
is
yeah, like the scallops or something he was talking about. Yeah, I follow him. Yeah,
yeah,
that dude,
he's
crazy.
awesome. But in his like Twitter bio was just like pizza, Pizza King or something, and I was
Hmm.
like, I had to not had to. I signed up to give something away in this, event, and it went to him, and I was like, going to his page, and I was like, oh my God, you're the Pete, can I bounce some ideas, And we started talking, and he's one of my better friends on the app now. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
My number one favorite food, and this is a more recent obsession, of which I consumed 119 times
Is
in
it
the year.
ramen?
Yeah, it's ramen in 2019. Or
Ramen is
2018.
amazing, the things that people do with it now. So
But
tell
it's
me.
like when like my family growing up wasn't adventurous eaters. Very like my dad doesn't like spicy food, doesn't like Chinese food. So it's like, okay, let's have chicken cutlets and broccoli and potatoes. And it's like,
And
okay,
die.
that's fine. Like my mom is a wonderful cook, but she stays very within what my dad likes.
Yeah,
Um, and so to me, ramen growing up was shitty, cheap ramen,
yeah.
which there's a place for that. Do
Marushan.
not get me wrong. If you wake up and you're hungover, like shitty, cheap ramen can fix you.
I mean, it's got the salt, it's
Oh
got the
my God, it's
broth,
got
so
so
it's
much
like
salt.
rehydrating and dehydrating you at the same time.
Yeah, a very temporary fix. That's
Yes. Uh,
but I started to like where I live has a lot of good food, but again, there's not much foreign stuff. Like I don't know of an Indian restaurant. Like we've got a Thai place, we've got great Italian here, um, but there's no ramen places. And I think that from what I understand is if you want to get really good ramen at a place, it's kind of got to be like specifically ramen. You can't just
mhm.
go to like a Chinese or Japanese place that has ramen. They have to kind of specialize in it because it takes so much like I started looking it up online when I first started getting obsessed with it. Um, the broth takes 12, 16 hours. And then the traditional cashew. See, I don't know that these are words that I read that I've never said out loud before because I've never been to like a good ramen. I've been to like one
Yeah.
or two, but chashu, it's like a braised pork belly that takes 8 hours. So like every component, the noodles are that's the main thing. I mean, the broth is the main. There's just like I think ramen just has so many beautiful components that it's great. And I started making my own broth, like going to buy pig's feet and I make a whole chicken and the obviously take all the meat off and do whatever with that, but the chicken carcass goes in the broth and it's like okay, so I've got my main broth, like what do I do for my flavor component? Like you've got your traditional, you could either do like miso, spicy miso, or you can get creative and do like, Jamaican jerk ramen and like you can do anything with it. And I think it's just like I love noodles, so I ramen to me, yeah. From the way I'm talking about pizza and ramen, I think that I
You're
chose right by putting pizza at number two.
your poor college kid is what it sounds like.
Yeah,
That evolved, like, hey, I like these poor people foods, but I want to make
but
them
to
better.
elevate them,
Yes. Um, man, you got to come back out here because I could throw a rock and hit like 19 pho and like ramen places around here.
absolutely.
There's an Asian specialty market. I'm like pointing like you even know where I'm pointing.
See, I don't
But
have any.
there's
There's
a
no Asian
block.
market near me. I hate it.
There's a block and it's Chinese food, we buy gold, pho, we buy gold, pho, Asian market, salon, massage, Papa John's.
Do they do
pho.
paycheck advances at We Buy Gold too?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's basically like, yeah, like pawn shops, it's kind of like a funny thing. Um, but yeah, and then like right across the street, there's like more pho places, and that's so popular around here.
we have a very good pho place here.
I've only
Um,
had pho once, and I was like, it wasn't that great, but it wasn't like a pho place. It was just like a place that had pho, and it
it's a
was,
very yeah, see, yeah.
yeah. So it was
It's a
kind of like,
distinct taste. It's got I don't know I don't know.
yeah. And you're talking about Indian food. There's one that's highly rated that I DoorDash with a lot, just right down the block. And there's an awesome pizza place. There's right across is a great Chinese place. There's a great sandwich place. Then there's another Indian place like right there. Um, that's see Colorado. It's all white people,
Yeah,
but white people that appreciate other cultures. Actually, there's with Boulder up there. There's a lot of Asian communities there. We're getting a lot of like refugees in from other places. So there's like a Muslim community too coming in here. So there is a huge Hispanic in Denver. Denver's got a lot of Hispanic people. So there's so many great restaurants here in this area, and I'm just too scared to try them all.
yeah. I live like my area is such a transplant area. I'm 30 minutes north of Savannah, Georgia, 2 hours south of Charleston, and the most popular sports team is like Ohio State. Like
Yes,
I'm not even
yes.
kidding because they all just
No,
come
I'm
down
not.
26 and just end up here, and it's just, I mean, it's a touristy area, so that plays a part. But it's a very, I wouldn't say it lacks identity because there is, the indigenous Gullah people are phenomenal, and they have, such a unique history. The like there's a lot going on there, but they this area in general is just very a lot of white people. I'm sorry that I'm another white cis male on your show.
Yeah.
Um,
Which I have no problem with, but I just, I want to get more voices because after a while, the voices all kind of sounded the same,
right,
like
yeah.
just with my few shows, it's like, oh, I'm collecting because my dad collected, and I back into it because my kid's collecting, and that doesn't
We haven't
apply
even
for
talked about
me.
cards, which is the best
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. But why I'm laughing is because I have friends like a contingent of my gamer guild is in South Carolina. They are from there though. They grew up there. One of my buddies is from Ohio that moved to South Carolina, and
Yeah,
they all
that's
joke about how he's one of them, and that Ohio State, which is a school he went to, is huge there.
it's
So that's why I was
crazy.
laughing so much because I
Like,
was like, I absolutely know because one of those is my friend Boab.
yeah, we've got a Browns bar. I there's no like Panthers bar.
That's so
I
weird.
just live in an area of transplants, and it's so the restaurants cater to that. You
Mm,
get these. There's also a lot of elderly folk down here.
yes.
Um, so you get vacationers, elderly folk, and transplants, and what do they want? A nice Italian restaurant. So we've got like
Yeah.
four like really nice Italian restaurants. So I'm out here trying to like make Indian food in my kitchen when I've never eaten at an Indian restaurant. It's like, does it
First,
taste right? I don't know. It's good.
yeah, it was funny. My wife and I, we first started dating. Our first Valentine's Day was right before we were going to move in together. It was 2011. I opened up this 5280 magazine, Denver Mile High 5280, and it had like the 100 greatest restaurants in Denver. And I went, bam, number one, Frasca in Boulder. She lives in Boulder. What kind of food is it? High end Italian, sweet. She loves Italian food. We're gonna go there. It's $100 each. We decided like we'll just pay ourselves. It was not worth it. It was one of those like, here's your 5 courses, 5 tiny little fancy
Yeah.
plates, and it was like good food, but like, man, for $100, like you could get a steak at like Shanahan's for 60 and eat for 3 days.
Yeah.
But you know, but it's like, okay, that's cool. And then for our second Valentine's, we both wanted Indian. We're like, hey, let's try Indian food. And we went there, this nice Indian restaurant. And I was like, I like it, and we would get Indian food every now and then, but she ordered beef, like some beef dish. And I was like, Catherine, don't order beef. That's messed up. And she's like, what? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, I forgot, but I just want beef. And I was like, if they serving it, they're okay with it. Like they don't care. Clearly, it's not sacred to them. But this is the thing, people. Indian culture, the cow is sacred because it provides milk and cheese, which they eat. So they eat milk and cheese. They worship the cow because, hey, you give us milk and cheese, which we should do too. They don't want to kill the cow because then they no longer get delicious milk and cheese. So, yes, they use milk and cheese in their dishes. So there's just a misconception I've seen some people have where like they don't eat anything from the cow. That's not correct. They just don't want to eat the beef because why kill the cow when you can get the milk for free? So just a little side tangent. But yeah, Indian food, it can be much for my sensitive taste palate and it's not the heat, it's just there's so many wonderful spices that you get overwhelmed sometimes because it's like, okay, here's this savory thing, and then there's a sweetness, and you're like, well, that's weird. And then you're like, oh, that's weird. But then you're like, oh, it's actually not that bad once you get through the cycle of flavors.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and so I've not had a lot of Indian food, but what I have had, it seems like a lot of it is acquired taste.
Mhm.
And like when I was a senior in college, we lived in an apartment that was above, it's like the first level was storefront, so it was like a convenience store, an Indian restaurant, and then a pizza place, and then like the second store was apartments, second story. And the Indian restaurant, like the people were so nice, and they would give us like, a carry out thing of food every now and then. And we never ordered from them. It was just kind of like, hey, they owned the convenience store as well, and we would buy beer from them, and we were friendly with the dude. And I'd get this plate and just kind of like pick at what I liked, and like, okay, here's chicken tikka masala and white rice. So I was like, okay, I can handle that.
Yeah, here's some naan bread, which is delicious.
The end. Delicious naan. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
Hot DN is really
delicious
good.
Naan. Yes, naan bread is how they make that is so cool because they're just like, okay, here's like kind of like pizza, like here's the ball dough, here's that, and then just slap it in this little tub furnace thing that's 900 degrees,
like,
and then they got the tandoori, that's what it is, and they just got to pull it off the side of the thing before it burns, and it's just like crazy watching them do it, but it's so good. Yeah, if you come out here for
pizza though, you need that 900 degrees, like that extreme heat. So that's not something that we can really replicate in our kitchens, which is difficult.
Do you have a pizza stone in your oven?
I do have a pizza stone, yeah.
Does that help a lot?
It does help, yeah, because I bought like a set that had 2 pizza stones and put them like this, one on top of each other. And what it does is creates like a little mini oven within the oven because they heat up, and it kind of like within that just stays super hot. But I'd rather go over to my buddy's house who has a grill in his backyard and do it on his grill. And we've like broken parts of it by like superheating it too much, but it's like worth it.
That's awesome.
And it's not my grill, so no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
well, I was gonna say, if you ever come out here, or you're planning to come out here, like do some research, do your own research, as they say online now. Find some places you want to try, and we'll take you to them, or we'll try at least one with you. My wife likes to go, try new things or new restaurants, and I do too, even though I might not like the food that much. It's worth it, to have those experiences. So yeah, there's tons of great stuff out here. Like I said, all cultures. You could find Ethiopian food. My wife used to go to the Ethiopian restaurant in Boulder, and they said it was delicious. And I never tried it, so I don't. Kind of bummed. We used to always see an Ethiopian restaurant on Colfax, and I think it's gone now. But it was down there forever. We would drive by it 20 years ago and be like, I wonder what the hell they serve.
Yeah.
So yeah. For sure, let us know if you ever come out this way. We can try to figure something out. So,
Absolutely.
because food. All right, let's get back to food. You were talking. We were talking ramen. We went
Oh,
on a
so
tangent.
wait.
Indian
So
food.
back to food. I've got something to say about um curry. And I know that so India is such a large country that like we think we have diverse areas of America. India is probably like twice as diverse across East India, West India.
Mhm.
And curry is such a blanket term that is used, but
It
uh
means
like
nothing really.
I,
It's
I'm getting
just
on like a pedestal right here because I think that every single freaking country has their own version of curry. Like beef
yes,
stew is our curry. It's the same
yes,
fucking thing, just with
yeah.
like less spices. So like there's Japanese curry, there's Indian curry. That I'm sure if you wanted to think of like some Italian, I can't think of it off the top of my head, and I would offend so many people
The
if I like
official,
said,
like the official food of the UK is curry or
yeah.
whatever, or
Well, they
something. It's
they
like,
like that's
yeah,
imperialism, Tom.
yeah. They steal the best.
Yeah,
But yeah, you just laugh. You're like curry, and no, it's haggis, and that's Scotland. I know, but you guys are attached, so that's what you guys eat over there: fish and chips and haggis.
but curry, like when you break it down, oh, like Jamaican jerk stuff, like you could basically like the curry spice doesn't make the curry, and that I know that sounds so stupid, but it's a mixture of like vegetables and I don't know. I just saying it out loud sounds so stupid, but every country has their own curry, and
Yes.
it's just without curry spice, which is
Yeah,
fun.
see, that's the thing. There's curry the dish, and then there's curry spice, and they don't necessarily go hand in hand at
Exactly.
all.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say. Yeah, sometimes curry spice goes in your curry, but a lot of times it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are like um red curry, yellow curry, this curry, that curry, and they have their own spices. And yeah, like you said, there's a billion plus people in India, and they have all these different regions, and Pakistan, they broke off. That was part of, India. And so all those different cultures, yeah, it's so diverse.
And we
And they've
have
been
like
doing it longer than we have by far.
we have
So
like cheesesteaks and like
chicken and waffles,
yeah.
cheese
You guys
steaks,
have your chili verde.
yeah, chili verde. Yeah, which we went to a hacienda, like a touristy old people favorite Mexican food place. Food's decent. It wasn't bad. My in-laws like it a lot, and that's why I went there. And it was really close, so it was just kind of easy for us
Yeah.
when we went. And
And you
yeah,
got to look at your Buffalo Wild Wings, which I
yes,
noticed you were just staring at
at
it.
the distance. Which I've kind of found out I'm probably allergic to chicken,
Oh
so my
yeah, that
chicken intake
sucks.
has gone down. And not that I'm gonna miss, like, I mean, I'm fried chicken. I'm from the South. Fried chicken, I miss that. Chicken wings, I still have those every now and then, but I've cut back a lot on chicken, and more pork, and other things, a little more beef. But beef's so expensive, and
Yeah.
it's hard to eat beef, man, because you're like, I don't want to eat meat at all, Brian. That's really what but I can't not eat meat. So it's just a hard dilemma. It's like I wish I could be
It's
a vegetarian, but I don't think I can, especially as a diabetic. It's just way too difficult to try to find sources to sustain myself. I should just,
yeah, and if you
yeah,
want to do, like locally sustained meat of any kind, um, it's super fucking expensive.
yeah,
It's so easy and like not that this is, right or wrong, but like a 4.99 pound of ground beef is not, that cow has not lived the best life. But that's so accessible to everyone. $1.99 or 99-cent pound chicken, whatever it is. And I know you're not eating chicken, but like these cheap animal products that are in grocery stores are so accessible that how can we and like I feel like I'm like preaching, but like how can we get off of them? We it's almost impossible to. We're so
yeah,
used to it, and anything that is more expensive is expensive. Um, we're trying to like kind of watch what we eat a little bit and more um trying to do a little more vegetarian stuff. With beef, I think we're really trying to eliminate that like cheap ground beef. Chicken, but like, see, I feel so hypocritical because I'm going out and buying like Sam's Club chicken. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like
It's hard though. Like you want to do better, but it's the industry's just so hard to
it's
do it.
very,
And
I think if, from a, animal, going vegan is so hard. And I
I wouldn't
have a
do
lot of
that.
respect for people that
Vegetarian would
do.
be as far as I could go. You know
But
what I mean?
if you just make a little bit of change, and if everybody does a little bit, I think that would make a huge difference as opposed to, 2% of people going vegan or whatever. Um, just every now and then mix in tofu
Yeah.
or sustainable seafood or something.
Yeah.
I don't
Tofu's
know.
not that bad, really. What you guys need to do is get the extra firm. People, they don't know what they're doing when they get tofu and they buy like a medium or a soft
Yeah.
tofu, and you're like, no, that's for pudding, man.
Yeah,
You
it's
need to get
gooey
the
soft,
extra firm or extra firm.
and you
I
gotta
mean, you
give
can,
it texture. You gotta, get a like you would a steak, like, you almost gotta sear it. You get First of all, you gotta marinate it because it
yeah.
doesn't really have much flavor,
Hmm.
and then you get texture on it, and it's
It's not
good.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I worked for Vitamin Cottage, they're an organic, natural grocers by Vitamin Cottage. Yeah, we would try all this
Sponsored.
stuff. That's yeah. um, they had a lot of ethnic natural brands, and that's where like we would buy the canned tiki masala sauce from there and try it, and the naan bread, and all this stuff. And we tried a lot of ethnic foods, and I'd buy tofu and try, have it with my
Yeah.
wife with stuff, and it's like, yeah, it's not that great, but if you treat it right, it can be, and
Mhm.
it's better than. This is what I'm trying to say. People think cows are dumb. When those cows line up, they know what's going on, man. They know that the cow in front of them is going to die. They know they're going to die, and they know that everyone behind them is going to die. They're not stupid. Um, so yeah, man, just think about that the next time you make fun of a vegetarian or a vegan. That your meal knew it was going to die, and maybe that's why it tastes so good. I don't know, but it's heartbreaking, man. And you see the cages of the chickens stacked up on each other, or they're
Yeah.
just crapping on each other's heads. And it's just like, it feels bad, man. And there are companies that do treat the animals better, like Vital Farms. Their eggs, they're like free range, eating bug chickens, 50 square feet each per chicken, but yeah, their eggs are $7 a dozen. So
Yeah, it's
there's a balance there that's hard to find, but it's just what speaks to you. But don't shame people for, being a vegetarian or being a vegan, because there are real, like for me, real crisis at times. Like, you go see a cow and it's like a big stupid dog, and you're like, man, I wouldn't eat my dog. Why would I eat that cow? Like, it's just, I don't know. Just to me, it's just
yeah.
like crazy sometimes.
I
But
do think, like, when people think, like, I grew up in a family, we ate ground beef, like, 3, 4 nights a week, taco night, I'm and like I said, do a little bit.
mhm.
We're doing, like, ground turkey tacos. A lot of people are like, "Oh, that's disgusting." Like, if it's disgusting, then you can't cook, you
Yeah.
know? There's not that much of a difference.
Watch
I
an episode of Chopped or Guys Grocery Games. You can make anything delicious if you
Yeah.
just put some effort in. That's the problem, is no one wants to put effort in because everyone's so tired because we got to work 90 hours just to make it.
Yeah, so it's like, "Alright, let's take," we need the grease from the ground beef, and it's like, you can spruce up some turkey to have not be dry and to have
Mhm.
flavor. Like, the ground beef doesn't have flavor. That's not what you're tasting in a taco.
No, it's taco seasoning.
I've
Eh,
also, some, like, black bean burgers are really good.
I haven't tried them, but I have friends. I have a friend that is a vegetarian. Well, he's my wife's brother's best friend, and he comes over for all our holiday stuff. And yeah, he and my father-in-law both have started eating like the alternate meats or the black bean burgers, and they said they're good. And I would see, I could try that, I think, because I'm not going to get that bean texture.
Right.
So that's something I do want to try at some point.
So
Like,
I
I'll
I
try an
think
impossible
when you said,
burger.
like, alternative meats, I think it's weird when they try and do, like, imitation. it's like, oh, this is soy product acting like a sausage. It's like, that's weird to me. Just
I had that rant in Vitamin Cottage and almost got fired. I was
it's
like,
like
okay,
people
you're
that are vegan probably are like, what are you doing?
but they're not though, because I talked to the vegans because I was like, why do you want soy bacon? And they're like, just to fit in, and it's like natural, and it's
Yeah.
just kind of like it's not. Yeah, I'm eating soy, but it also feels like I'm, not as weird or
So
something,
yeah, you're eating eggs and bacon on the weekend, but yeah.
yeah, but I'm eating my soy eggs and my imitation eggs and my soy bake. So that's what it is, and it's also easy, why have like a work your butt off for some tofu when you can have like a tofurkey, and it's already made up and done. You just cook it, yeah, imitation turkey. And they're good products, the vegan cheeses, the Daya. I used to get that every now and then because they'd mislabel it and send it to us and we would be able to take it home. So that's the one perk thing I miss from the Vitamin Cottage. They were like, if the shipping company screwed up, you guys get to keep it. And we're like, hell yeah. So we got to try all kinds of, stuff we normally wouldn't try, like vegan cheese. Who would buy that? And you get it for free once. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to buy it, but it's not bad.
Yeah. My brother's fiance is lactose intolerant,
Mm.
and I don't, I went over to their house and they've got like vegan cheese sticks and like I'm such a cheese hound, Tom. I could go vegetarian before whatever giving up cheese is.
Yes,
I guess that's vegan, but you'd
it's
already be,
vegan.
you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather give up meat than cheese,
Yes, me too, honestly.
but
Like
I
I
don't
said,
want
I
to.
could be vegetarian because I could have cheese and honey and other products from animals that animals make. You're not abusing or entrapping. I mean, yeah, I guess you'd probably have to choose if you really were or conscious about it. Like a better company and get the organic free range cheese. But yeah, they like nut cheese, they like almond cheese and other things,
Oh,
cashew
I've started
cheese.
to do like almond milk,
Almond
and I don't.
milk's
That's fine
delicious,
with me.
but man, it's not good for the environment as much as like oat milk, I think.
Oh well, yeah. I combine them all into the same thing right now. I'm at that
Yeah.
stage where I'm like, I'm not drinking real milk, so it's alt milk.
It's something about like a gallon. It takes like a gallon of water to make one almond or something like
Oh my
that.
god.
I'm not sure that's
And
exactly correct.
60,000 almonds to make.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like it takes a lot of water and I don't think almonds are supposed to be, like a commercial nut. Um, but oat milk has a lot more sugar than almonds. So that's another thing. Like, it depends on what you want to balance. But
Right.
almond milk, I used to drink soy milk when I was a diabetic because, it was like, hey, get off there's a lot of sugars, lactose in milk. Try one of these alternatives. I was like, okay, vanilla sugar-free
Yeah.
soy milk was like, okay, it's nice because it has like a little bit of flavor. It's not like weird water. But then it's like, okay, non-Asian people don't handle soy well and it can alter your chemical imbalance and ups your estrogen. So maybe it's not good for prolonged use. Every now and then it's fine for honkies like me, but okay. So then I did almond milk. I was like, I love almond milk, and then it was like cashew milk. I think I tried it once and I was just like, no, not for me. But yeah, these alternatives, they're everything's getting better. Electric cars are getting better, food alternatives are getting
When you said
better.
everything's getting better, the first thing I thought about was cars.
Yeah, that's
Like a
funny.
Kia is not that bad.
Yeah. No, but it's like if you really care about being better for food or animals in the world, it's getting better. It's going to be easier for maybe not us, but like our kids or our grandkids, will have a better, well, maybe not our grandkids or kids, but someone's
Right.
grandkids will have a better time being like, you know what? I'm not going to eat cow because I can eat this, lab grown. So I used to joke about this a long time ago, and this would be my favorite thing in the world if we could do it. Science creates this hybrid animal, which is like 100-foot long centipede that's legs are chicken wings. And then you just like harvest the chicken wings off of it, and then it regenerates and grows new ones. And, since you're feeding the caterpillar hybrid thing, it's happy. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's just like getting its like hair shave,
yeah.
like a haircut. It doesn't hurt it to take the chicken wings off. And then, I wouldn't feel bad about chicken wings so much. Like I'm eating centipede slug chicken wings, but they taste delicious.
Yeah, so to
So
answer your question of which country would I go to eat this centipede, it'd be the Dominican Republic. Shout out Distorted.
yeah. Let's talk about her, man. We both kind of fell in love with her art right away. And it was just like, this is cool. She has food ties in, which is
I love her
crazy.
cards. They're so
And then
she's got her own style and she crushes it.
yeah. And she's awesome. She's hilarious. And she's also like thirst trap.
Oh my god. Like it's almost to the extreme sometimes. I'm like,
My wife got mad one time. She's like, because like she followed me, and then like Lauren Taylor followed me, and like some other woman or like something followed me, and she's like, "Why are all these hot girls following you?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then she went to Distorted's
oh my
webpage. It was
god,
one
her
of those
Instagram
like
is like
bikini things like this, and I was just like, "Oh my god, my wife's gonna kill
I
me."
think there are and I don't want to forget anyone when I'm doing this, but Distorted, Alex Pardee, Lauren Taylor, what is the gentleman's name? J
Jake Rochester,
Yeah. There
Jacob
are a
Rochester,
couple of these project artists that are doing such a great job and taking it so seriously. Um,
F.
I
Dot is another one. Eric, Frederickson or whatever his
Yes,
real
F.
name is.
Dot,
F.
yeah,
Dot.
yeah.
He's such a good
Um,
guy. Blake Jameson, of course. I don't.
Blake James, yeah, that's another one that
Has
I've
Blake done anything recently? I don't. I can't remember the last card. I think he had one before the holiday, but
I
I
feel
haven't
like he's
seen
had
anything.
to have, but, like, I hope that they are around for the next 20 years in the hobby
Yeah.
because I think each and every one of them has embraced the hobby. I think they've done such a good job with it. They've really poured their hearts out. I also think there's other artists that are not involved in the projects that could do the same thing.
Hmm.
But it's such a cool thing that we're merging these two kind of fields, with cards and art. Um, and I really hope that
Tyson Beck, real quick.
Tyson Beck, yeah,
Yeah,
he's doing his
dude.
own shit, and it's like,
Will you do me a favor? I just remembered something.
yeah,
Um,
I got you.
Distorted. She said a long time ago, she's like, "Man, I want to make basketball cards." And I was like, "Girl, you got to work for Panini then." But now with Fanatics and Tops merging, you should send her a little tweet that'd be like, "Hey, my buddy Tom said a while ago you wanted to make art basketball cards. Maybe you should hit up Tops and Fanatics and be like, hey, can we have a Project Distorted basketball set come out?" Because Lauren Taylor, she has a set coming out like Keith Shore did. So there is going to be a
Keith Shore is
Lauren.
another one. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I feel like I offended you by not mentioning
No,
him.
no, no.
Wander
There's
Franco's true rookie card.
the truest of truths. Um, But yeah, like, Ben Baller had his set, which was more like a release, than Keith Shore. Keith Shore's was like a print to order mini set, which was really amazing though. You
Yeah,
looked at
because
him, you're
Keith
like, they're
Keith
goofy,
Shores
but
was his own.
yeah,
I and I mean Ben Baller did his thing by like, he had the logo and with his inserts, they were very cool, but give us, case hit Keith Shore cards,
yeah.
cool stuff. Even just an insert set. It doesn't have to be a case hit. But
But
keep these
Lauren
artists
Taylor's doing
involved.
it.
Keep them on the payroll. I think
Yeah.
they do such a good job. And not to poo-poo on whoever's doing the inserts for Tops, recently, but they're recycling a lot of old,
Yeah.
hey, this is, our 1972 set that, has new players on it, which is fine. But
For heritage, let's
yeah,
keep it to heritage and
yeah.
let's do some more inventive stuff with Tops instead of like, okay, last year we had 86 Tops because it was, the 25th
Yeah, they do
anniversary.
the 25th
Now we're gonna have the
anniversary and then
25th
like
87 this year, and it's like,
yeah.
come on, guys, let's do something fun. Let's do something cool. You have these artists on the payroll. Yeah, half of them flaked out, and that's why you're killing your set now. But there's some that we really love and some we really want to see. And yeah, having a short print Lauren Taylor set or Ben, Blake Jameson insert, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Versus, let's reprint a card that looks like an autograph and have people get excited, and then,
Oh my God.
the worst idea they had. But yeah, it's just, I'm glad
That's
we're talking about
Hobby
cards
Bingo,
now,
as
but
someone gets excited about
yeah,
Topps Through the Years autograph.
so this is going to be the end for my project collecting. Once I finish up parties and Keith Shore set for Project 70, if they have another set that they're doing, I am not going to collect the whole set. I don't care what the reward is. We're going to get these gold foil printed things for
How much of the Keith Shore, so I didn't buy any of the Keith Shore,
Bowman.
yeah, was it boxes that they did, like packs? So you wouldn't get the full set,
No,
with
you
one
got the
order?
whole set. You
Okay.
got the whole set, and then there was like a random chance to get a
A parallel or
parallel
yeah.
that was like chrome. So, and it was like 4 of them. So I bought 2 of the first one, and I was gonna plan on buying like 2 of every one, but then funds got tight, so I was like, nope, I'm just gonna buy 1 of each. So I have the complete set, and I got a red Freddie Freeman to 5, like 1 of 5, and then I got a purple Key Brian Hayes, which is has the rookie logo on it, so I
Yeah.
guess it is a rookie. I think it's the 25, so something out of 25. But I can't find supplies. Like none of my local
Oh,
card
yeah, because
shops
they're
have it. The
yeah.
tall boys, so it's like I got to find the sleeves that'll fit and top loaders, and But do I want to give them up? Not kind of, but not really, because the base cards, they look like the 89 Bowman. They're just kind of plain paper and nothing exciting. But those chrome
Yeah, they're probably
Keyshaw
sick.
chromes pop, man.
Do you just have them, like, in the case that they or the box that they came in? Yeah.
The wrapper, just back
Yep.
of the box,
Oh
packed
my
away.
God, that's
That's how I find a
putting
lot of hits. Like I open a blaster or something, and then I'll just pack it up. And then like 3 years later, I'll open up that blaster again and be like, hey, there's an autograph in here.
yeah,
Like I must not have had supplies at the time. Now I know why people do car rips.
still in
They
the
have no
pack.
supplies. Yeah. Just
Pack
throw back
fresh, right?
that.
Is it still pack fresh if you open it and then you put it back in the pack and then 3 years later you retrieve it
No,
from said pack?
it's past its expiration date.
Damn
Like,
it.
see, here's the thing about milk. People think milk, the date on there is the goodbye date. It is not. That is the goodbye date sealed. If you open the milk, you have 7 days to drink it before it goes bad,
What?
technically. So if you buy milk that says 14 days out, but you open it that first day, you're not necessarily going to have fresh milk till that 14 days out. It's really, if you keep it sealed, it's good to hear. And then 7 days after that. So
Former produce manager, right?
I was a grocery manager too,
Okay.
assistant grocery manager, which encompassed dairy. So, and yes, I did the milk orders and had to do a lot of milk stuff. So,
So, Tom, my
yes,
senses are not as I know you pride yourself in your
super smeller.
olfactory sense, but, Lindsay, not Ruth Ryan, is the same way. She has a very strong smell, very strong taste sense. I am a very, if this expired food does not disturb me, I will consume it,
Hmm.
and now you have me worried.
Well, there's okay. So cheese, I think most people know this. If it's mold on a hard cheese, you could cut around that
Oh,
mold and still
yeah.
eat the cheese. If it's soft cheese, you don't want to do that. But I am one of those that will like give a smell. If it passes the smell test, I'll give a taste. And if it passes the taste test, I'll eat it. Like, oh, this salad dressing expired like a month ago. I don't smell right away.
Gotta
Okay, a
love
little bit of a taste,
preservatives,
and they'd
right?
be like, "Yeah, it's gone." I have a thing about, I think it's my grocery store background where I see an expiration date and I just need to chuck the food.
Yeah.
Even though it is
So you're
most
not into,
likely
like,
good.
pulpy milk?
I had some eggnog that was like 2 days past the date on it, and It smelled fine, smelled delicious, and I went to like it wasn't pulpy or chunky or anything, but I'd like took a drink and I was like, I'm not going to risk it.
Yeah.
So it's just for me. I think I was just trained in wasting, or not wasting food, but like the food waste. Like there's these dates and you need to get rid of it by then, so mark it down or whatever. But yeah, in my house, my fridge, I need to go through because I have like pickles from 2 years ago that I need to toss, which are probably okay, but maybe not. So
It's
just don't want to
vinegar.
risk it. Yeah. See, as you get older, you become more sensitive to foods. So it's like, do I really want the shits?
Yeah.
These things might be delicious, but am I going to be on the toilet all day? And that's just kind
Which
of where,
brings me to my next topic.
okay, poops.
I just got a bidet.
Yes,
I'm a bidet guy now.
I hear those things are awesome. I had an employee when I was a produce manager at King Supers. He was like, "Get a bidet, Tom. It'll change your life." And I was like, "You're weird, man."
That's an aggressive. It's like it's like veganism. Like I'm not gonna push it on you, but
But I'm gonna
you know,
bring it
I
up
will.
every chance I have.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like its own unit. It's just like an attachment to your toilet, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
How does that work? Because does it take water from your toilet tank?
The toilet line actually before it gets to the tank. So I
Okay.
had to pull out my handyman hat and do a little bit of plumbing.
Add like a little tea
It's a
thing
T,
to it.
yeah, T
Yeah.
exactly, and right up into, and then you install it like under the toilet seat, so it just sits there and it's got a little knob on the side. So like, I think I installed it kind of wrong because I have to like relieve the pressure on the back a little bit because the toilet seat pushes it down and it
Mm.
doesn't spray my anus if I'm sitting back. So I have to
Misses
like
the
sit up a
butthole,
little
it gets
bit.
my balls, which is
Yeah.
nice in its own way, but but you still have to dry though, right? Because you can't
Oh,
just like.
absolutely.
So
So
what
there's
does it
two.
really save? But I mean, it gets you cleaner, but does it
It,
save paper?
I think it does save paper.
Okay.
Um, I'm still working on figuring out like where it's not like a just a quick squirt gets you, you know, clean. So, I've gone down there expecting it to be, and it is kind of wet. Like my butt crack has some hair on it.
Yeah,
So it takes I do two sheets and I fold them over and I'm pretty good, but I'm getting used to how much bidet I need. But I think if I can keep it to two sheets per poop, that's a
that's a
major
win.
accomplishment.
I don't know how many times you poop a day, but I'm like a 4 or 5 time guy, and they're small. But this,
Yeah.
like, I got it from my dad. He was one of those. Um, so he he got like when he was having cancer and stuff. He was had some pain pills, and he hadn't gone poop for 3 days and was miserable. And my mom was like, 3 days, like your son, my brother Daniel, and like my mom were like, we've been like, like 10 days without a bowel movement before. And you're complaining after 3 days. And the longest I've gone without one was like 32 hours. It was after my hand surgery, all the pain pills. But it's like just for him, it was just like, I got every 6 hours, I got to poop. So it's just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Everyone's different. I mean, like
They
I
are,
know
yeah.
my dad is a very like, oh, I gotta poop at 8 a.m. every day. Like I'm between like 8 and 11, but then I got extras.
Some people are comfortable talking about it. I'm just like, it is what it is. I bring this up because they, I got in trouble at work because I pooped too much, and I'm like, I will take pictures and send it to you, HR. If you don't believe me, they're like, we need you to go get a medical reason why you poop so much. I was like, I naturally poop much. Like, I could just like, I'm literally going to take pictures and send them to you. Like, I'm just going to shit my pants at work. Like, no, but
Yeah,
you need to get a
that's
doctor's reason. There is no reason. It's genetics. We'll
I
have them
eat
say that.
this.
And it's like, I have to go pay all this money to get, yeah. So I'm kind of bitter about it right now. But yeah, they were keeping poop logs on me, and I'm just like, I will send you pictures of poop
Oh
logs.
my god.
Oh, Oh man, they're like, you're always in the bathroom. I was like, I'm always in the bathroom at between like 8 and 8:30, like right before I eat lunch, and right after. And it's not just like poops. Sometimes it's just pees, but I am a very regulated bathroom user. Like I have my times where I'm going to pee, and I have my times where I'm going to poop. And they're like, you're always in there when I need to be in there. It's like, well, you need to go the same time I do. You need to change
Yeah.
up your routine. You guys all sync to my poop schedule.
Also,
And
never mind your productivity, like, when you're not in the bathroom, it's just they're very concerned about that period of time, which is great.
yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you just poop so much. Meanwhile, they lock themselves in their office, and I can hear them talking to like their boyfriend or their husband on their phone. It's like the
Yeah,
walls are paper thin, guys. We know you're not working.
might as
Let's
well be
complain about
pooping.
Tom pooping.
If you're gonna take the call, poop. 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh, but yeah, like the bidet thing appeals to me in a way. But then again, it's like, well, how much paper do I need to use if the world came to an end and there's no more paper products on the shelf? A bidet would probably be beneficial because you can ration it out better, or just get your poop towel, dry your butt, and wash it. It
So
won't be as disgusting as wiping with a towel. So
I was at, my friend's house in college one time, and he takes a shit, and then he just, like, proclaims from there, "Oh, well, we're out of toilet paper. I'm gonna take a shower."
I've done that.
And I'm like, I've made fun of him for, like, 9 years for that. And I'm like, look at me now. I'm getting a bidet. It's like the same thing.
It's the same thing. No, yeah, you're just like, I gotta clean somehow, and I'm not gonna trust that I, pinched it off clean.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump in the shower and then, go find some toilet paper. Yeah, that's a very college age uh thing to happen. And yeah, the perfect way to solve that problem be like, yeah. We used to have a friend that we swear we'd use a whole roll when he went to the bathroom. He'd come over play Halo with us, and then sure enough, after everyone was done, we'd go to the bathroom and there'd be no toilet paper.
Oh my God.
It's like, do you just take the whole roll just off and just like and then chuck it? Like,
I love, like,
uh,
I don't know if you're on Reddit that much, but I love, like, when it's like a question. It's like, oh, ask men, how do you wipe your ass? It's just like people are like, oh, I like wrap it all around my hand. It's just like, what are you doing? People will, yeah, use like half a roll of toilet paper in 3 minutes.
yes,
That's how you clog toilets.
yes. Growing up in our house, it was poop flush, wipe flush.
Yeah.
That's what they always, because we lived in a trailer and had like a horrible plumbing and horrible toilets. So it's like, just if you got a big poop, you just poop, you flush it, then you
Yeah.
wipe, then you flush it. Don't try to do both, because then you're gonna be
Don't
plunging
be a
the whole night.
hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents just bought these shitty like Scott's toilet paper, which
Oh.
it's like 1 ply. Like, I
No.
get better stuff from the library across the street than Scott's.
I hate it, man. Oh, um, so we did touch on the hobby a little bit. You want to talk more about it, or you just want to just keep rambling on, or you got to go, or are you good, or what?
I think I'm good. I don't have to go anywhere.
Okay, you
I
want to
think
keep
it would
rolling?
be opportune for us to talk about the Broncos a little more.
Oh yeah, we haven't even see.
Um,
That's the thing, man. Like Che and I and Hecker, we had a show right after the Fanatics news broke, and we didn't even talk about it at all. You come on the Tom show, you're just gonna have fun
yeah.
and just talk about whatever. But yeah,
I don't
let's
know
talk
what
about
I
the
have to say about
Broncos
the
real quick.
hobby. I think, like, the Fanatics news is not gonna change anything.
Mm-mm.
We all expected it. So, a lot of news in the hobby is not really news to
It's just
me.
people complaining about everything again because they
Um,
fear
I
change.
wanna see a Mosaic checklist. Mosaic football releases this week. It is, I think, like 330. It's a pretty big checklist. So I want some Quinn Miners rookie card. I want some of my dudes. I know that like last year we had Judy and Hamler, so the Broncos were, pretty expensive to get into breaks with.
Yeah.
Obviously Javonte Williams is one of those dudes, but
Yeah.
defensive players are not valued that well, which is absurd
Yes.
because they're so fun. I mean, you ask me my 2 favorite Broncos of my life, of my fandom, Champ Bailey and Von Miller.
Those are my two. Exactly. Champ Bailey was amazing,
Oh
and
my
so was
god.
Von Miller. So
Yeah. Um, so, I'm hoping to get some Pat Surtain, and Javante will be there as well. He's a freaking stud. And if we can get, you know, we've got a good rookie class. I
yeah,
think I believe in George Payton. I believe it's pronounced Peyton.
it is pronounced Peyton, but it's
Okay.
spelled Patton for
Yep.
sure. So that's the weird thing. Like Dalton Reisner, he was a rookie 3 years ago, and 2 years ago he had a contenders auto rookie, like the year after, and it's like
Yeah.
that is weird. I get it. He's an offensive lineman, but you know who also had a contenders rookie in that same class? Shaq Barrett, who played in Super Bowl 50 for the Broncos. 4 years later, finally gets a rookie auto, and it's in a Bucks uniform.
He
But he's
had,
been
I
in the
don't know if it
league
was
for like 4 or 5 years.
2019 or 2020, but his select cards are labeled RC.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
And
maybe it wasn't
Tim
contenders, but it
Patrick
was.
had rookie cards in 2020 select.
It's just crazy how I don't want to get on a tangent about like what is a rookie card or anything because whatever, who cares?
Wander Franco's Bowman's Best is his rookie card.
I mean, I would if I collected Wander Franco, I would get one, just to cover
I
my
hate the
bases.
idea of that being his rookie card, but FOMO's got me like, well, I kind of want one.
Yeah.
It's stupid. I mean, cards are stupid. Let's talk about the Broncos.
Yes. But let's talk about Broncos and Broncos cards. Let's just limit it to that if we kind of go off the tangent. But yes, I would love a Quinn Miners contenders was my set for
Yeah,
football.
that's like the iconic.
Yeah, like I would get Topps
Rookie
Chrome because I like Topps Chrome a lot, and I would do certified for Panini back because I was 2011 and 12 is when I came back. So that's when
Mhm.
you had Topps football products, which were great. And then you'd had, the Panini stuff, which was, not as great in some ways, but like National Treasures is great. Like I love National
Panini's so new
Treasures.
to me. Like I guess I told you about my gap, like up when I got to high school.
Mhm.
I think I transitioned to football, because I was getting a little more into football. I fell out of baseball. I was an Orioles fan. Um,
So once Cal Ripken left, you were just like,
Pretty much until Matt Wieters, and he had an exclusive with some weird company, and he did not have Topps cards. So, not that like was in my mind when I was looking at cards, but I was a much bigger football fan in high school, and I kind of got back into baseball in college. Um, Actually, after I graduated in 2012, that summer, I bought a hobby box of Tops and Bowman. So I feel like I just like missed getting Mike Trout by
yeah.
so close.
I
But it
have,
was fun to go back and
yeah.
look at my old cards, and it's like, okay, I've got this gap, and these it's very tangible as to when you collected what because your cards are right there. Um so in 2012 when I bought baseball products, I did not buy any football that summer. So Panini, like, to me, is all brand new. Like, I love Tops. I'll admit it.
Yeah. Um, Panini bought out Donruss, so that's kind of where if you are old collector, you kind of remember the
Rated
Donruss,
rookie, yeah.
yeah, the rated rookie stuff. But yeah, it was kind of weird, like Panini. I was like, "What is this Panini?" And then I kind of looked at it. I was like, "Oh, it's like Donruss. Someone bought Donruss." So that for me, it wasn't that big of a stretch, but it was because that was football. Von Miller was a rookie in 2011, and I was like, I'm going to collect Von Miller. I'm going to do this PC thing people are talking about, and I did. I collected a handful of Von Millers and kind of got out of it, and it was just like I just want Bronco cards, just kind of everybody.
Yeah.
But 2011, 12, really, really into football because of Von Miller, and then the Andrew Luck kind of chase, and
Yeah.
it didn't work out, but it was fun. And then, yeah, mostly football. And then recently it's been baseballs because you got like the good rookies coming out because it was like Chris Bryant, then Judge, and then Shohei. And, there's always like these really good baseball prospects and rookies coming out. And football, you're kind of like, you got burned on the 2013 and 2000 like 15 draft classes
Yeah.
almost back to back, and you're just like, yeah, I'm kind of over this football cards because these guys all suck. And I don't want to buy any because you can go buy like a hobby box of that and it's like $40
The
marked
prices are
down.
crazy.
But now,
For
yeah, it's all
football.
back to crazy expensive. But yeah, it'd be nice to have like the contenders rookies of like Miners and Caden Stearns. The guys, they played quite a
Yeah.
bit and made a difference this year for us. So I
Stearns
don't
was a
want to wait.
playmaker. I remember, I don't know if it was the Ravens game, but like I remember we messaged each other like he's been on like 12 plays and he's been visible on like
Yeah.
half of them,
Mm-hmm.
which like he's getting
It
in
was
there.
kind of nice. You're like, yeah, because Kareem Jackson went down. So Caden Stearns kind of started playing more as a rookie. And you're like, he's making some plays and doing good. And so I want to see those guys get those contenders, hopefully not to like, the super short print. There's only 72 of these. So they're
Yeah.
$1,500. And you're like, nah, for Quinn Miners, like, can I just have like one of the 1,000 that's like
Yeah.
$12?
I
But that was, so people might not remember that or know that or remember it because that was the big thing was those contender autos. There were short prints and then there were like the alternate, short prints of like the normal, like Von Miller had his card, but then like the logo was removed on his little helmet. And that's how you could tell it was a short print.
yeah,
So, but then there were also players that just had like 37 contenders autos. So if you wanted to complete the whole contender set, which was something someone did back then, you really had to shell out. So you could get like a no-name guy, but he could have like literally no autographs and it could be like $1,000 card. And it was crazy. But
that's crazy.
I don't like that, but I do like the varying degrees. I don't like it that extreme, but
Yeah,
I do like okay, this guy's not as cool and he's a little bit of a niche guy, but we're gonna just reduce his autos so there has some collectability and demand, and you won't be disappointed when you pull him. So it's kind of cool. But these Broncos, man, we had this conversation. I, for the record, do not hate Drew Lock. Just throw that out there. Um, all of our quarterbacks suck. I'm going to say
yeah.
that.
That's
I just knew that Vic Fangio was going to go Teddy Bridgewater 100%, not a doubt in my mind. And I was just trying to tell you guys, like, I know you love Drew Lock, but don't get your hopes up because these assholes are going to go Teddy based on like when I
safe
really.
play. Vic's a defensive guy, and he
Mhm.
thinks that the logic is if you hold the other team to under 20 points and you think you can score 20 points a game with your offense, you're
Yeah,
winning. As Garrett would say, 20-0.
20-0. It was the first or second preseason game. Drew Lock did really well those first
Yeah.
two preseason games. And they were talking about, like, someone asked Vic at halftime or something, like, how about that Drew Lock? He's, whatever yards and 4 touchdowns in preseason games and no interceptions. And he's like, well, Teddy's been playing great too. And right then I knew, I was like, there's no chance in the world that Drew Lock is going to get this job. That poor kid had it all last year and he's playing better and they're just going to go with Teddy. And it was just like, it's a sham. It's over. And I think I just made me mad to the point of like, F these guys,
Well,
like,
we touched on it too, and I think hit it perfectly. Like Drew Lock has turnover problems.
mm-hmm.
Um, he's more of a gunslinger. He's a risk taker. He's got arm talent, people say. He doesn't have the intelligence that it takes to be an elite quarterback. I don't think that's a surprise. I mean, up until halfway through last year, he would hit only his number one receiver. Like, but when he came in, like at halftime in these games, when Teddy got hurt, it was the Ravens game. I forget which other one, but like he was that kid trying to like prove it to his dad that he was it. And like it was the irony of him trying not to turn the ball over, but he was trying so hard to prove himself. And it's like he was just in a bad position. And I'll make excuses for Drew Lock all day, but I will also point out his flaws. what I was happy with these last couple weeks is he didn't turn the ball over.
No,
We didn't really produce as an offense, so it's
no,
like,
but
okay, what
it was
what do
nice
I
to
want?
see because it just felt like, they're like ride or die Teddy. Like, oh, if Teddy can play, he's our quarterback like against Cleveland. Like Drew should have
Yeah,
started that whole week, because Teddy was just banged up and they just throw him out there banged up and hope he would do something. But it's like I think they gave so many more reps, and maybe all teams do this now. I feel like it was different years and years ago, but Drew was not getting any reps, so he was not really ready to go in and run the offense that they
yeah,
had planned, and they didn't try to adapt to fit him. But when he became the starter the last 3 weeks, they're like, okay, what does Drew do? We'll try to do stuff for him, and I think he felt more comfortable. And yeah, he didn't turn the ball over, but yeah, the offense he needed Rick. They should have never fired Rick Scangarello, and I
right.
know that's all on Vic because Vic hated him for whatever reason. Vic is can we just
Stubborn.
mention that Vic might be a genius and he might have forgotten more football than you and I will ever know? And like I said, maybe he should have remembered some of it.
Yeah,
But he is a selfish dick and he would not take accountability for anything. And he would throw everyone else under the bus any chance he got, because it's like, hey, Vic, how's your offense going? I don't know. I'll watch film later. You're in practice. You're the head coach. What do you know?
yeah.
Why do you not know what's going on? Oh, because I'm too busy on the defense. Well, you have a defensive
You're
coordinator.
a head coach.
Yeah, and that's what drove so many of us nuts out here. And I don't know how much of it, like that stuff, reached you out where you are, because I saturate myself with the talk radio at work.
Right.
But it was just like it's so frustrating. It's like, oh, Vic, you got blown out by this team. What happened? Well, our players didn't execute. Well, did, what game plan did you have?
Yeah.
And did you hear about after? So I don't know if you know about this. After we beat the Cowboys, Vic went to the Denver Post and talked to a reporter about how he's the one that stepped in and changed the offense and how he knew all along that the team was great. And they wrote this huge article fluffing him up, and then we get blown out by the freaking Eagles the next week. That's the kind of guy Vic is. And yeah, you're sad when someone loses a job because you don't want to hurt someone's livelihood, but that dude made millions and he never
Like
took
Vic will tell you,
responsibility.
he will be fine.
Yes,
He's gonna find a job. He's gonna be a great defensive coordinator
and
somewhere, which
that's
is
what,
very unfortunate that
yeah,
we are losing his defensive mind.
not really, not really.
Oh,
In a
yeah,
way,
I
yes,
I
but
saw what you said about and I
the
had never thought about this, but, we were I think, second or third best scoring defense,
mhm,
but as a function of that, or a function whatever,
yeah,
teams didn't have to score a lot. Teams don't have to score 30 to beat us. It's
yeah,
it's not like we're doing that, so they could have 8-minute drives, which I think there was 3 or 4 times when teams had, like, 16 play drives against us,
yes.
which is
So we ranked at the time. This was like 2 weeks ago, before the last few games. We were the number one scoring defense in the league,
right.
but we were 30th in percentage of drives for the opponent ending in points, which means that the opponent, when they had the ball, they scored. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we held them to field goals, but more than every other team but two, teams would score on their drives. And that's what it was. It's like we slowed them down. We grinded the games out. And yeah, they would go on 10-minute, 8-minute drives, get a touchdown, and you knew the game was kind of over in the third quarter because you're like, man, they're up
Second
10
quarter.
points now.
Second quarter.
It's 10-3. It's kind of over because, yeah. So it's kind
What's
of
weird
hard
is,
because you're
like
like, how good is it really if they scored on almost every drive? But yeah, the drives took long, but it looks good because yeah, we lost 16-20, so yeah, we're not giving a lot of points and blame it on our offense, but the defense never made a play really when they needed to. So
yeah.
that's
I think that, like, last year we kind of had a thing where, our defense gave up more points, but we could blame it on the offense
yeah, the
and the
turnovers.
turnovers. So it's
Hmm.
okay, they get the short field, they can do this, and oh, 7 points are because they got the ball at the 15-yard line,
Yeah.
because of
Melvin fumbled or Drew
yeah,
Lock threw a pick or
or both.
Yeah. Happened.
Um,
Uh,
so I don't know. I think that we have some serious needs on the front seven of defense. Um,
it's not as close as people think. We're like definitely not a contender. Playoff team, bad teams make the playoffs sometimes. And I'm not saying the Broncos are a bad team, but there's a lot more
but
work.
they're not in the playoffs.
Yeah. 7 and
We've had
10.
the 9th pick 2 years in a row.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we get something good this year too. I got to trust Peyton. He's a scout. That's what he liked to do. That's how he came up. And it's
Yeah, I
how he
mean,
spends
they
his time.
really, really crushed this draft from what I can, and I'm not a scout. I think it's
Mhm.
amazing how I watch football from such a zoomed out perspective, and then I watch these. I don't know, who's that guy that like he was on Drew Lock all off seasons, like Tim Jenkins or something. But
Hmm.
like when he breaks down like plays, it's like
Yeah.
holy shit! Like I'm not looking at a play and thinking like, oh, cover two in this blitz. Like I just zoom out and watch football. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry that that's how I watch football, but
Don't be sorry for how you watch football. Enjoy it.
I enjoy it. And I think that we've had some noticeable rookies step up this year. And
Yeah.
if we continue that,
It's
we need a
gonna be good.
quarterback. I mean, that's one thing, but along with the quarterback, you need to draft well,
Yeah.
or else you're kind of going to be in that swimming, floating. We make the playoffs, we don't win range. If we want to build a perennial contender, you got to draft well and get a quarterback. So, do we draft a quarterback this year? My whole stance on quarterbacks, and this closely aligns with a very successful GM, Ernie Accorsi, is if you think he's the guy, if we think that Kenny Pickett's or whoever, if we
Yeah.
think that Tom Willis is the guy,
That's right.
or your brother Malik Willis, you trade up, you get him.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter. If he's not the guy, you don't take him.
Yeah.
It's what happened. I felt very confident passing on Fields and Jones last year because if you don't think he's the guy, and this goes going back to Drew Lock, they
Mhm.
drafted him with their 3rd pick. They got Fant, Reisner was the pick before Lock, so
Yeah.
whatever. But like if you like Lock, you fucking take him at 10.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. If
Yeah.
you think
Don't
he's the guy.
Yeah, if he falls into your lap, it's probably not gonna work out. And that's
Yeah.
kind of
I mean,
exactly what
that's
they did
so
with Brock, with Paxton. Well, they traded up for Paxton, but like 3 spots, from
yeah.
28th to 25th or 20th or
So,
whatever.
if we think one of these guys is the guy, we might have to jump a couple teams. What do we give up? We've got 2 seconds, 2 thirds. That's some decent ammo.
Mhm.
We got next year's picks too. Do you trade up? We give up a second this year and a second next year to get from like 9 to 6 seems like a lot.
It does seem like a lot. And I don't know. They have that scoreboard chart
Yeah,
thing,
that's
and I
so.
don't know it, but it's so weird because, like, when Chicago went up to get Trubisky, they went from 3 to 2, and they had to trade like another first round pick, and
Because
it's
it's
like one
quarterbacks
spot.
drive everything. Quarterbacks
Yeah,
probably multiply that trade value chart by 51.5. That's
yeah,
such a huge
yeah. I was kind
factor.
of hoping they would take Fields, just because, like, man, some quarterback excitement, but like Sertan, I knew he was good,
Yeah.
and Parsons, that Dallas took, because
Well, I didn't
Dallas
want Parsons. I'll go on the record as saying that.
I kinda did. I was like, I like linebackers. Mecklenburg was my first favorite Bronco.
Yeah.
Al Wilson from Tennessee,
Oh, I love Al
Mobley
Wilson.
and DJ Williams, all those guys. Like, I love those good linebackers. Romanowski before, he kinda went crazy and, spit on people and did bad
Yeah.
things. But, those linebackers were just something I like. Linebackers and running backs are my favorite on each side, just because,
Right.
just the impact that they had. in that era I grew up watching most. You know, they're not as important as they are now
Well, they're saying
necessarily.
this linebacker out of Utah could be like that guy.
Yeah, I've
So,
heard
and I
something.
don't know. I'm not a scout. I read mock drafts. Like
Mhm.
that's I love mock drafts, but
They're fun.
we just gotta, I think that we're finally in a position now where maybe we trust Peyton, and I don't think Elway was a guy that was worth trusting. Um,
I mean, he
God, do you
did bring
remember
us
how
a
nice
Super
it was
Bowl,
when
but
we were
man,
hitting on those fifth round picks? That's how we won the Super Bowl.
mm.
It wasn't Peyton Manning.
It
It
was
was
Peyton Manning
having,
bringing people to want to play for him at a discount.
yeah, for sure.
That's part of it. But yeah, Elway, his draft sucked, man. I was a collector. Trust me, I know. Ain't
Ronnie
not one of
Hillman,
his
baby.
picks. Yeah, I was collecting Ronnie Hillman. I just bought a PSA 10. It's my first PSA 10. It was a Ronnie Hillman something or other rookie card, and it was like $8. And I was like, hell yeah.
Me either.
We won a Super Bowl with him. That's my PC. If you played on a Super Bowl for the Broncos and we won, I want to collect you. If you lost, I still kind of want to collect you, but not
Yeah.
as much as going after the winners. How do you feel about Bradley Chubb? Are you just like
Um,
disappointed and heartbroken that he sucks, or are you kind of like he's had some bad luck? I still think he's kind of a good player, or are you just like I hate life?
the worst part about him is when we've seen these past 2 weeks. The 2 weeks ago, he just like the dude was clearly down, and he just like dove at him. And then this past week, I forget what it was, but he had another boneheaded play. Like, come on, man,
Mhm.
you're he's I'm I'm over him. I don't think he's that. I think he's a very talented player. He's going to go somewhere, and we're going to be like, oh, Bradley Chubb. Oh, he's got 12 sacks. Crap, we let him go. If we let him go,
Yeah.
he's good.
If
But
we hold him, he's going to get hurt again and have 5,
I
maybe.
also think it's this was some of the chatter years ago when we had Von Miller wrecking and Chubb kind of like I guess it was Chubb's rookie year because he had 10 sacks that year.
He had more than 10, I
He was
thought.
right. He's a Robin, not a Batman,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's fine.
But he wasn't a Robin when Von Miller was here the last few years, you know, and he had some injuries, and yeah, that sucks. But yeah, Bradley Chubb, his rookie year, was like he's on pace to break the rookie sack record for a while, and then
Yeah,
he got hurt, and then just like nothing for years. And you're just like, you know, yeah, maybe if we drafted one of those quarterbacks with that pick, it might not have worked out. But if
what
we
you
would have
think we would have
drafted
developed Josh Allen?
no, not a chance. But if we would have taken that fat guard that Indianapolis has, you
Yeah,
know,
Quentin
maybe that would have
Nelson.
been nice.
That's true.
Quentin Nelson, that's who I'm thinking of, right? Or, you know, one of those other was it like one of San Diego's was Derwin James in that draft or someone else that they got that's
I
really
don't know.
good?
I know San Diego's been drafting very well lately, and it
Hmm.
terrifies me.
Yeah.
I'm
If
just
they
looking
only had
like,
a
and I think
quarterback.
we draft well, but like I hate it when other division rivals do it.
Yes, you like it when the Raiders draft. Basically.
Low
um
blow.
man, the Raiders. They just had another guy get a DUI today. Uh,
I saw that, and it's like it was another rookie, or I
yeah,
guess Ruggs is
something.
a second year dude, but like
It's heartbreaking, man. Like
I
Rugs.
saw, and I don't know. I love coming up with um
And real quick,
a
it's
ton of
hypocritical because like the Broncos led the league last 20 years for getting arrested and drunk driving incidents between players and staff. So yes, our team sucks too at that. And off the field incidents happened a lot. They're getting a little better. We haven't had a whole lot. I mean, Melvin Gordon last year and Kareem Jackson last year or this year or something. But
right.
yeah, we still have a lot of those too. So we're not just crapping on the Raiders. We're freely admitting that we have a lot of shitbags on our team and in the front office. So
I forget where I heard this, but it was probably 10 years ago or so, and it was some accomplished player that came from a good squad, and he got traded or signed by the Raiders, and he was saying like he just walked in and like no one knew like the program, and it just like the difference between a winning culture and just a team that was out there playing football is like night and day to him.
Mhm.
And I I think that's kind of why you get, you look at we've requested what 9 people for interviews, and a certain number of them have come from the New England Belichick tree. Like that's real. The
Mhm.
culture is real. I think in any workplace.
Do you trust the Belichick tree, though?
No, not at all. I think they
No.
would sabotage us.
Yeah,
Like
I trust the McVay tree more than I would the Belichick tree, just because, you got Patricia, and then you had, years ago, you had, the guy that went to Houston, and then you had, the Notre Dame guy,
no Charlie
those
Weiss.
yeah, he sucked, and then you had that old man that was the defensive coordinator for Bill Belichick, that was a head coach, and he kinda sucked, and then you had McDaniels, who was just the worst. You just hear
McDaniels has
horror
screwed over
story.
2 teams, and
Um,
he's gonna be the hottest head coach when he tries.
yeah, and, you just I don't feel good. For me, I want, like, a Dan Quinn, I like him. He's a positive guy, and, he's got that enthusiasm of which everyone tells me is real. Tyler Columbus, who played on our Super Bowl 50 team
Yeah,
and played for McDaniels, talks about how horrible McDaniels was. He played for Dan Quinn on the Falcons for a little bit, a short stint before he came back to us for the Super Bowl. And he says Dan Quinn's that guy, man. Like, he's genuine. You see, like, him acting the way he acts, but it's genuine, and
I want someone that what one of Vic's biggest things was throwing people under the bus or not taking accountability. I think that in all aspects of work and leadership, you got to know what you don't know, and if you step in there as a defensive guy, an offensive guy, you got to hire the right coordinators, and
Mhm.
you have to trust them. And I think that that's one of the biggest things we need. It's not just the head coach; it's we've got a lot of coaching positions to fill.
Yeah.
Um, and hopefully, we get a good squad together. I hope we keep Munchak. I just, even though this past year hasn't been what it is, I think the track record's there, and I don't know anything. I don't know any other offensive line coaches, so
I think we might because, his daughter's here. And that's why he took this job, is because he has a daughter and she just had a kid and he wanted to be close to his grandkid. So he was like, "Yeah, I interviewed for the head coach, but I'll take the offensive line coach. I just want to be out in Denver."
what
So
if
it's
we
like,
promote him to head coach?
no, they said,
Okay,
there's no one. Not that I'm disagreeing with you, but I believe someone asked the question to George Payton, is there a candidate on the current
in-house, yeah,
staff?
yeah,
And he said, hell no. So I think if Munchak is happy here, it's happy being the offensive line coach
yeah. That's what he loves.
because
I mean, that's
he's not stressed. He doesn't have to put in the, 80-hour or 90-hour, 100-hour, whatever they say
right.
coaches have to put in, and he could spend time more with his daughter and granddaughter. So I think he's happy there. And not that I have anything against him. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to it. If they fired Vic, I thought he probably would have been the, in-season guy to replace him, but I knew they weren't going to fire him in
Right.
season. I just knew it was going to be like an end of the season thing to just kind of show, it's a little classier when you wait, to me. Yeah, sometimes you could fire someone and the sparks change, but
Yeah,
like
but what? Yeah, like you're saying, like what does it accomplish?
nothing. It does nothing really. It
Yeah,
just makes things worse. It makes things harder on the players and makes them feel, like, oh, no one really cares
I
about
think it probably
me or
hurts.
yeah.
I think it
And
hurts more because incoming free agents are kind of like, oh, that's
yeah.
it's
Like
not a
Nagy.
clean cut.
You remember Nagy was going to be fired like the day before
Oh my
Thanksgiving, that
god, yeah.
game, and then it's like, and then they held out to the end of the season, which I respect, and he was like coach of the year 3 years ago. People talk about how much he sucks, but him and Trubisky went to the
I saw
playoffs.
something like Trubisky and him went to the playoffs twice.
Yeah, they were a double doink away from like going deeper into the playoffs. People forget that, like, how quickly things change in the NFL. Three
It's
years ago,
crazy.
you're coach of the year and you're, almost won a playoff game or two or whatever. And then you're like the worst thing ever and you're fired. And it's just insane.
Do you think we hire someone soon, or do you think it extends into February?
I think
Maybe
I mean,
not
if
even
the
February.
Cowboys get bounced, I think we could hire Dan Quinn soon. I think, honestly, I think it's kind of like his job to, if he wants it, it's his. If he doesn't
Hmm.
want it, then it's not. And I feel like the reason why we're interviewing, the quarterbacks coach for the Packers and their
Yeah, that's
offensive
just
court,
lip
it's to,
play to get
it's
Rodgers.
no, well, that, but also like it's to, you interview someone for the head coach job, but it's really for the offensive coordinator.
Right.
Like we're going to bring in all these guys, and yeah, 8 of them are offensive because we're probably going to get a defensive coach, and he's got his guy that he's going to bring in for his style. But let's interview all these offensive coaches and tell them who we thought, was good, and let him, pick the guy he's most compatible with. So I think that's kind of the plan. But man, I just don't care. I'm not the coach anymore. It doesn't excite me. Or after Vance Joseph and Vic, I'm just like,
I'm
because
gonna cut you
Kubiak
off
was
and do another
awesome.
bathroom break. I will be right back.
Sounds good. I'm gonna do another promo for my wife's show.
Yes.
So everyone, just a reminder: Thursday, 2 days. What would that be? The 13th. My wife will be coming on the show. My first personal collection show and tell, my Nintendo NES games. We'll talk about that. Talk to my wife. She grew up, I think the N64 was her first console. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about how she handles life with me, which is difficult at times. I am a very difficult person to be around. If you know Twitter, you know that. And yeah, and we'll talk about her stuff. My wife at Lady Catherine 7, I think. I mean, you could find her if you need her Twitter handle. Just ask me. She's got some projects she wants to work on. She wants to do some stuff. She wants to do some blogging, talk about disability and body positivity. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that and see if we can get her going. So looks like you grabbed something off the shelf. What'd you get?
I did. So with this, Fanatics Tops news and with the unfortunate passing of Demaryius Thomas,
Oh,
um, I did I got this refractor, many months ago. But Topps Chrome refractors are like some of the cleanest cards, and I just wanted to
yeah, Topps football. I loved Topps Chrome football. Like the Fanatics deal, that's what make people like Topps Chrome basketball. I'm like, I get it, but Topps Chrome football, man, because I hate Prism. I don't like Prism. The silver
there's so
design
many
is
people that are
boring,
like
and
Prism sucks, and then it's still no one likes it, but it commands the highest price, which is just crazy.
yeah. Let me run real quick and grab something Demarius Thomas related. You carry the show. You talk about whatever you want. I will be right back.
Awesome. Wow, whatever I want. Got nothing. Virginia Tech is also in a position where we just hired a new head coach. I think they grabbed the two guys from Penn State. So the Fuente era did not work out. Um, I can bring it full circle and say that he was a quarterback guru for what he did with Paxton Lynch. Um, Hindsight's 2020. So Fuente was not a quarterback guru. And we move on in Blacksburg. I got to get to a game this year. It's been probably 4 or 5 years, but Blacksburg is one of the most beautiful campuses. Wonderful stadium, wonderful atmosphere.
I am back.
I went on to explain Virginia Tech. We're looking for a new head coach because our
Yeah,
former
fired right
coach
before the
Justin
bowl game,
Fuente
right?
Fuente was hailed a quarterback guru for his work with Paxton Lynch. Tom, this has double haunted me.
Oh, so this is going to be the Demarius Thomas story. I was too emotional to tell, and I'm going to tell it now. 2013 training camp is about to happen. My dad gets rushed to Swedish hospital in Denver. He is very jaundiced. He's yellow. He went to the hospital in Gunnison, Colorado, which is my hometown, where he was born. And he went to the hospital there, ER. He's yellow. He's jaundiced. He's not feeling well. They say, nothing is wrong with you. Go home. And he's like, I don't feel well. And I'm yellow. And the doctors there told him, I have never seen a healthy man want to spend the night in a hospital before. So they sent him home. The next day, my church, or our church, uh, they get together like we're driving you to Denver to get some real help. They drove him to the hospital. Come to find out, he had a blockage. He had to get a stent put in so he could get some flowing through whatever organ was causing him to get jaundice. But then he had throat cancer. So he's in the hospital. He got the cancer diagnosis. Everyone's visiting him from Gunnison, and I'm from Boulder coming down. And there's training camp. So my sister and my brother were like, let's go to training camp. My mom's going to stay with dad, and we'll go distract ourselves, and we'll go see the Broncos, because 2013, Peyton Manning, and when you go, they hand you these little autograph things, and it has like the players on the back of everyone in training camp. So I was like, okay. My sister and I, we had this idea. It's like, okay, we're going to go. If we get any autographs, we'll take one of each autograph and we'll put them on the poster board, and we'll go to the card shop and get cards of those players if they have cards. And we'll say, like, get well soon, Dad. We love you, and make a Bronco autograph 2013 poster for him. And so we go, and it's a great time. Peyton Manning yells the F word a lot, and he's choking Ronnie Hillman on the sidelines, saying, this mother trucker doesn't know anything. I'm sorry I cussed in front of your kids, but if he knew what he was doing, I wouldn't be yelling. True story. And I took a lot of pictures. They said, no outside photography. I'm like filming plays, taking pictures, and I have it on like an old phone, and I uploaded it all to Facebook, but I don't have Facebook anymore. I mean, it's still on my Facebook, but it's shut down, so I don't have access to those pictures anymore. But we waited, and after the practice over, you just kind of come up to the rope area, and the players, whatever day it is going to come down, and they're going to sign autographs. Peyton Manning signed autographs. He didn't sign not one of those sheets, but he was signing balls or helmets or jerseys for mostly kids. But you're like, I could respect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yeah, this screams autograph hound. Even though we were doing it for my dad, it was okay, not a big deal. But we did it. It was the wide receivers day. So Eric Decker came out, Wes Welker came out, Demaryius Thomas. One of like the practice squad guys who'd never made the team was like one of the first people cut. He signed for everybody, but thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't make the team, it's cool. And I'll show you here in a second, but we all got together, and, we're like going over it. And I was like, okay, I got Wes Welker's autograph. Okay, who did you get? My sister was like, I got Eric Decker's. And then, it was like, okay, back and forth. Okay, Daniel, who did you get? He's like, I got Demaryius Thomas. Okay, Sarah, his daughter, who did you get? I got Demaryius Thomas. Okay, Mary, who else did you get? I got Demaryius Thomas. Okay, Tom, who else did you get? I also got Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas, like, I might cry. Sorry, you can't tell because of sunglasses.
Yeah.
He signed for everybody, man. Everyone got his autograph. I still have 2 Demaryius Thomas autographs from that day, 2013 season, and that's the silver one. Is the guy that he never played really on the team. Let's see, was he 98? I wonder if he's on here somewhere. But Demaryius stayed, and he signed for every single freaking person in there. Is it Silver Siligia? I think that was his name. But yeah, Demaryius. Everyone got Demaryius Thomas's autograph. And that meant something to us, like you could see that in the flesh. Like, I was the only one that got Wes Welker out of the 5 of us.
Yeah.
And, my sister was the only one that got Eric Decker out of the 5 of us. But every single one of us got Demaryius Thomas's autograph. So, like, if you want to know, like, what he meant to, like, the fans here, like, some fans didn't like him, but if you really knew Demaryius, you knew that he was, like, the most genuine and caring person, like, football player. All the stuff he did for kids, and that just shows it, just signed. everybody. Like it
There were
was
so
out
many
there the whole
instances of
day.
players talking about, how I forget who it was, but it's like on the plane home from the Super Bowl, like
It
he
was
sat
Tyler
next to his
Columbus.
kid, and yeah,
Mhm.
and 100, not 100, 30 of those instances where players were just like you know, embraced my kids and he was my kid's favorite player.
Yep.
Um, for him to come from the background that he came from to be the person that he was is a one in
Incredible.
a million chance. That is,
Brandon Stokely, the wide receiver for Baltimore, then Indianapolis and Denver, he talks about how Demaryius was his son's favorite player. And when Brandon went to Peyton Manning's Hall of Fame enshrinement, his son said, "Dad, I need you to get a picture with," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get a picture with Peyton." And he's like, "No, no, I want you to get a picture with Demaryius and send it to me." Like his son knew his dad was going to go to the Hall of Fame, and he wanted a picture of Demaryius Thomas because that dude made an impact on his life. So, um, I actually want to send you one of those. That's what I was going to talk to you about. Is I want to send you that one, Demaryius Thomas. So you said you didn't have one. I want to send you this one.
that
Uh,
would be
if you're okay
insane.
with it, because it is an official 2013. We did go to the Super Bowl that year. It's going to take a while for me to ship this out because I got to find one of those top loaders, and I'm so far behind on other people's mails. But Bryan, I want to send that to you. That's what I
That
was.
is Tom. That is awesome.
Um, he signed for everybody. He signed for you. You just didn't know it. And that was for my niece, and she was like, "You could have an Uncle Tom," because I kept the one that had the other player's signature on it. I was
Yeah,
just like, okay. I was like, because what happened was like, okay, here's my sheet with Demaryius Thomas and Wes Welker. She cut up those and put them on the poster board, and then she's like, and then someone was like, okay, I'll give you my Demaryius Thomas sheet, and like we traded to make it
right.
to where everyone got an autograph, but. My sister kept that poster board too, and also a Terrell Davis autograph that I bought for my dad for Christmas. She took that too when my dad died, so I'm kind of mad about that. But you know what? I have all the cards, so it's kind of it's okay.
Yeah.
But she put all the work into that poster for my dad, so yeah, she could keep it. But yeah, man. Then telling you that story, I want to kind of convey like how important that autograph is to me,
No,
and
that is such a cool, like, when it's like, "Hey, everyone, like, do Demaryius Thomas, Demaryius Thomas." Oh, everyone? Like,
yeah,
he understood the assignment, I
yeah.
think, as the kids are saying.
And
Um,
it was for my dad. My dad was having cancer, one of the worst times of my life. My dad died the next year, next April, right after the last game we watched. He watched and we watched together was the Super Bowl loss to Seattle. So I mean, we're used to Denver losing Super Bowls in my
yeah.
family, so it's not a big deal, but kind of sucks. But that's how much you mean to me too, man. I love you so much that like having that great story and being able to share it with you, and then also give you like your first Demarius Thomas autograph, and something like that. It just feels right. So that's why I was planning on doing this. You're like, please don't do anything crazy. It's not anything crazy really on my end. It's just like emotional and meaningful,
That
and
makes it
yeah,
so,
it's
like,
not crazy. It's just love,
it
man.
gets passed on to me, and
Yeah.
I very much appreciate that and love you as well, Tom.
Yeah,
That
and if you ever
is
go meet Peyton Manning in person, you could be like, "Hey, Peyton, would you mind signing this that Demarius signed for my friend in
yeah.
2013?" Uh, make sure you have it in like a plaque or something so he knows you're not going to eBay it, because he won't sign anything that looks like it'll be eBay. He was taking like footballs that had other signatures on them and signing it for like kids. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
the dads were handing those to the kids to get signed. But yeah, I almost touched Peyton Manning. That's how cool it was, because I was right here. I was like, I didn't want to say, "Hey, Peyton, it's for my dad who has cancer," because I just feel sick, and who knows if that's true or not if someone asked you to do that. So
Absolutely,
I was
yeah.
just like, please. I had my phone in my pocket filming the whole time as he was signing autographs, so it was super fun. But yeah, I was that close. I could smell his breath. It smelled minty fresh.
Minty after
Minty
practice?
fresh. Yes, it just smelled like an angel.
Did he mint up during practice?
What's up?
Did he mint up or, like, use Altoids or anything?
No, no, I just think he was just that wonderful of a guy.
I like that.
Oh, maybe he did. Maybe he used what is the Mento or no the dirty
The
mouth
Listerine
gum.
strips,
No, the dirty mouth gum, the Trident or whatever. Remember the
dirty mouth,
commercial?
clean it up.
Yeah, that whatever that was. That's probably what he used because he lost it on Ronnie Hillman. I mean, if you don't know the goddamn fucking plays,
Oh my
get off the
god.
fucking field. And yeah, Ronnie ran. And then he came over and was like, I'm sorry. I know I swear it in front of your kids, but he doesn't know the plays. And I was just frustrated and yeah, shaking Ronnie Hillman. And Ronnie's just like,
Peyton Manning.
like smiling, like I don't know what's
Oh
going
my
on right now.
god.
Oh man. So is there anything else you want to talk about? Or it's been 3 hours. My wife's dog are probably needing of attention. So
Yeah, I think I got to get on the attention train too.
yeah.
Um,
But I just love you, man.
yeah, I love you too, Tom. And we got to keep this going. That I put the note of your distorted basketball cards, but
Yes.
also the hobby Twitter bingo.
Hobby
Let's just
Twitter
bullshit
bingo.
back and forth, and just like anytime we see something stupid, just be like hobby Twitter bingo it. Just
Yes. Spank Me Daddy is still number one.
number one. That that I know it like can't be the free space, but like that's you know it's got to be on everyone's.
I also told Ivan about how Top Shot approved me in one day and I had my money and OnlyFans has rejected me 6 times or 5 times or whatever. And he was like, this is a tweet I thought I would never ever read, or a DM I thought I would never ever read. I was like, when you have a friend like me,
Nothing is out of the question.
nothing is out. So Bryan, why don't you just have the final word and then we'll just head on out.
Oh man, final word. Um, I guess if I were to like split it up, I'm very much looking forward to the NFL playoffs and what they
Yes.
have for us. I think there's like, a, I feel like we're just in this spot with a lot of sports where there's so much young talent and we're so
Lucky.
lucky to be watching them. Um, and I hate them because they're not on my team, but it is fun. Um, but then, flipping back to the hobby, I think it's just such a wonderful place to meet, new people. I've got a dozen people that I consider friends, like friends, not just people that I
Friends.
interact with.
Yes.
And that's so cool. Um, people I wouldn't mind picking up the phone and, if I had a problem talking to, if I'm ever in their city, hanging out with them, like you've alluded to, it's people with common interests that we get each other. And I think it's a fun, great place. I very much appreciate you putting on this show. Um, and everything that you do, which I know you probably think you don't do a lot, but you do in a way bring people together. And I think that's very important. The group that we
Thank
have,
you.
Cardboard Connection, is just insane. Like, how did it's like
Great
the
group
all
of
star
people.
team, and
Yeah, it
me and
really
you are
is.
just sitting there like, yeah, oops, yeah,
We're just dorking out. These guys are like just great people, and
yeah.
we
It's
have
so
like
cool. There's so many
different.
great people. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you
Who's the
very much
guy
for
for
having me on the
you?
show. I
Real quick.
wish you and Lady Catherine and Olive the best.
I was gonna say real quick. Who's the one person out of like the Cardboard Connection that you would pick up the phone and call if you had a big problem?
If I had a big problem, um, it'd probably be either you or Che. And I don't talk to Che that much. I just know that he is that dude.
Che, that's my answers. Like
Um,
Che is that dude, man.
you because I know you the most, but
Yeah.
Che because he's that dude.
Yeah.
And but there's anyone in that group would stop what they're doing to help anyone else.
Absolutely.
It's so cool.
Even Moose. I would call Moose. I'd be like, Moose, I need help, man. You're mature, more mature than I am.
He's
What
gonna
do I
be,
do?
yeah, he's awesome. I messaged him and I was like, hey, just today I was like, I've been slacking on like, stuff that I have shipped the past 2 months, like aligning them with what I sold and just trying to get everything organized for, in Excel and stuff. And I was
Mhm.
like, make sure you don't fall behind on this stuff because procrastination will fucking kill you. And he's like, yeah, I do it every Sunday. It's like, yeah,
Little shit.
yeah. He's the man though.
Meanwhile, I
He's
have
still
mail that's 6 months behind, still sitting on my desk. My wife's like, "You should maybe mail some of this out." And I was like, "I haven't mailed it out because you said I couldn't."
D-Moose, he still can't beat me in Clash Royale, but he's the man.
That's what I hear. I'm not into that game, but it looks like a lot of people like it and have fun with it. And yeah, you tease him a lot, and he needs to be
That's what
teased.
games are all about,
Yeah,
games, hobbies, interests. Here
yeah.
we are.
Well, man, this was so much fun. Like a 3 hour, 10-minute show. We
I
barely
thought it
talked
was going to be
about.
like an hour and a half.
I want what I say is like, hey, let's do an hour because that's decent content. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Not and but usually they go about two, 1.5
yeah.
to 2 hours, just because
That's what I
people.
noticed. Yeah, 2 seemed
And then you have shows like this where honestly, if this was like not 10 o'clock my time and almost midnight your time, I would not want to get off
I'll
this
wake
with you.
up at I'll no, because that timing works 6 a.m.
Time's
for me is
not a
4
flat
a.m. for you,
circle.
but, let's do it. Let's run it back tomorrow morning.
Yeah, see, like, man, I could go like another 2 or 3 hours because we have so much to talk. So that just means I'm gonna have you back on sometime
Absolutely.
soon. Any and honestly, if you have a special event or a sale or a fundraiser or anything, Tom, me, will do a special Tom show to promote that. Like I did with Moose. He's gonna have a stack sale and he's in school, so a Sunday night was something he could do, even though he was out of school that week. But whatever. But I am willing to do a special Tom show for my friends to help you promote anything. If you want to come back at any time, please let me know. I'm trying to get more people before I have more and more repeat viewers because I want to share all my friends with the world, but the people I'm
Absolutely.
really close with, like you and Che and everybody, I want back. I think
I know
Chris is
that,
going to be on next week.
I obviously white cis male here, but, not Ruth Ryan, aka Lindsay, she texted me, like, the first half hour of this, and she's like, "I saw that Tom is looking for, different people for the show. How about a spouse or, a lover of someone that is addicted to cards? So maybe we could do a little combo show." Um,
Absolutely.
that'd be fun.
You
Or we
could,
could just hop on Zoom or whatever the kids are
yep.
doing. Us four, you and Lady Catherine and us two.
Well, you could do the Zoom, or I could just, I use Streamlabs. We could just not go live.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
that chat function before the show where we're all on there. So there's plenty of ways to do it, but she should take a look at Thursday show, the one I do with my wife, because we're going to talk a little bit about that. Like, how has my card stuff affected you at times? And it's been bad at times. We're like, we're waiting for my paycheck, but Keith Shore's card ends the day before I get paid, and I need to come up
Right.
with $20. So, sorry, babe, I got to use our last of our food money to buy Keith Shore card. Like, because that has happened to us,
Yeah.
a couple times. So it's like, oh well, I'm gonna go DoorDash, which is easier in the summer, when it's dark at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. It's a little hard to go DoorDash because it's just crazy here
Yeah.
at night. So
And I know that we're ending the show. The show's ended,
keep
but
going.
how how has your area rebounded, responded? I know it hasn't rebounded, but how is your area doing since the fires? Because I know that like, God, man, I saw those pictures afterwards, and like, you just see. I work for a home builder, so I see these neighborhoods that are newly built, and
Mhm.
then you see the pictures where it's just ash,
Yeah.
thousands of homes.
So right now, for me and a lot of people, it's like head in the sand.
Yeah.
We know it's horrible. We're not going to go by and look at it because it's out of the
Oh
way,
yeah,
and we don't
of
want to
course.
be like weird like that. My boss, she's done that, and even though my coworker, her husband, was kind of like, "This is weird, babe," but she's like, "We work for them, like we need to see what happened because
Yeah.
we sent some of our guys out there because we're a landscaping company and irrigation, and we do new construction, but that's like installing the irrigation and
Right.
stuff like that. So we're gonna have a lot of projects. We have current projects over in that area that lost some stuff. We're gonna have more just because we got that town's contract again, and then we're gonna have to replace some stuff. We sent a guy out and was like, "Here's the map of where all the meters are, the water meters for the irrigation system. Go check them out." And he came back and was like, "Completely melted, completely
Oh
melted,
my
completely
god.
melted,
That's like
completely."
that's something that people don't think about is how
Mhm.
many resources go into and nothing compares to the people that lost their homes, but
Yeah,
like so much goes into getting it back to where it needs to be and what goes into I don't know, that's just insane.
yeah. So it's kind of like I know it's going to be super painful when I see it, and I'm not ready to see it because it was super painful watching the news. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's better than I thought it was for that town, and it was worse for the other town. It was better for Superior than I thought it was, which is the town we have the contract for, and it's worse for Louisville, which was surprising to me. Um, and they were saying stuff, and that Superior was like wiped out in places, but it wasn't. They just couldn't get in well enough to check. So there's like half burned neighborhoods, and
yeah. It's
like,
so hard, like,
mhm,
I know we were supposed to do the show that night,
yeah,
um, and I can only relate it to hurricanes, and it's very anxiety. You don't know if you're gonna have to just leave your home.
yeah,
And beyond that, you don't know what's gonna happen to your home if you have to leave or not, and it's a no-win situation, and, like, thank God, the fires didn't reach you, but
mm,
it still affected you.
yeah,
It sucks.
yeah.
That whole time leading up to it sucks.
Yeah. So if you are like Brian and I, you're animal people. A lot of animals died. Like there's stories of like lady, like I got my two dogs in, but like my cat would refused and was just tearing my face off, so I had
Mhm.
to leave it. Um, there's like a lot of dead pets. There's a lot of dead animals. Right next to that Target, there's that burned. Thankfully, only its roof burned. There's a PetSmart, and that night my wife was, like, "Oh no, the Target," and I was like, "Oh no, the PetSmart." She's like, "They got all those animals out, right?" And I'm like, "There's no chance they like loaded up
Yeah.
all the fish and gerbils and birds and the PetSmart."
Even
So
so, like, imagine a pet boarding facility that was within there, and it's
yeah,
just like that's what Lindsay works for, and,
yeah,
if there's a hurricane or a fire, this situation, and you've got a certain number of pets, and you've got 4 or 5 employees there, what the fuck do you do?
yeah.
You that's
There's been some good like news stories. They're focusing on like, hey, this family got reunited with Pepper and it's amazing. And you're like,
Yeah,
that is amazing. Just don't tell me about the thousand that didn't. You know
right.
what I mean? So if you guys want to help out with the Superior fires, there are things out there. I would just suggest taking care of your own neighborhood. Your own neighborhood has problems. So find like an animal shelter, like a non-kill one, please, for the love of God, a non-kill shelter. Help out there if you're sad about Superior Pets. Help out a charitable cause near you. Our buddy Che did the Kentucky hurricanes. Our buddy Garrett did the
God,
Missouri,
what
Kansas
Garrett did,
fires.
we didn't even touch on that. What he did
Yeah,
was Superman-like.
yeah. He raised the money and then he went and bought all the stuff that they said they needed and drove
He
it out to him.
he talked the talk and walked the walk.
Yeah. Whereas, like, Che, he went and bought the supplies and then donated the rest in food cards. But, when we did a Jed Foundation, you just raise the money and you send it off to
It's
them. And
easy. Yeah.
yeah, it's not going to buy clothes at Walmart and it's not going to buy and getting trailers rented for, fencing and salt stones and all these posts and everything to replace the fencing. So there's some real hobby heroes, but like that's what I'm trying to get to is like there are these causes that are closer to you and help build up your own community, plant your seed in your area and watch that grow. And, we're going to have a lot of help out here and it's going to be okay, super devastating. But, a lot of good things. It could have been a lot worse, it was the most devastating fire in Colorado history, not for
Mhm.
like area burn, but for houses and people displaced, and my wife's twerking right in front of us. She's like, I'm gonna make you laugh and break character. I was like, there's no character to break. My wife's shaking her booty right there. So.
That's my character.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry. Anyways, this is what happens on the Tom Show every now and then. We want to wrap up, but then we hit something we forgot about and we talk more. But Lindsay is always welcome on the show with us. And with you, it would be a good, we could maybe even have a 4-way chat with my wife and do a Tom show just to, talk about that. Like, how does having a weird husband / boyfriend that does stuff on the internet affect your normal life? So yeah, tell her that's fantastic. And, she's a great talker. She talked a lot, and not in a bad way, but, she was very warm when we met, which is sometimes weird when you're meeting people for the first time. But she was just
yeah, you guys didn't we have talked, but she was a new person. And
yes. Yeah. Like you and I could have just talked, and they could have just sat there and been like, this is weird, right? Yeah. Hi, what are you?
It was an internet friend.
Yeah. But they were both like into each other, like, the conversation, and we were all having, so I think it'd be fun. But yeah. And yeah, I do want to reinforce that I have nothing against white dudes. I am a white dude, cis male, maybe not. I am a male, identifies male, but I want to hear different voices because, Bella's interview was so much fun because, she's a young lady, and she also has, the autism that affects how she approaches the hobby. So that was a super interesting conversation because she was teaching me stuff and I was learning something. So that's what I like. And we had that too, like we were talking about the food, and that's a new thing for me to talk about on the show. So everyone brings something new, but also, like, if we all kind of have the same, like I was saying earlier, like my older brother got me into cards. Your older brother got you into cards. My older brother got me into cards. Your older brother played video games and then you liked them. My older brother played video games and not like, you know what I mean? So it's like, there is some repetition there, but if I just want to see like, like a person of color or like a trans collector or, just something like that. And I'm not trying to like, I need this to happen, but it's like, I just want to say you're welcome. You
have a quota to fill for non-male cis people, and then they get sponsored, and I get it.
No, that's not it at all. It's just like, I want people to feel welcome, and I want to share different voices. And, there's especially in our hobby, there's so many great, wonderful, welcome people that are like, you like what I like you. And then there's people like, I don't like you, get out, it's my hobby. And I just like kind of want to, show people like that's a minority. The assholes in the hobby community are a minority. You are welcome no matter who you are, what you collect. You collect video games, NFTs, hobby stuff that I'm into. You like cooking, whatever. I don't care. Just come talk to me and tell our Twitter family more about yourself. And, it's not for followers. Like, we're not going to get more followers out of this. Maybe you'll get 1 or 2, but it's just more about like
and better understanding.
Yeah. Just like, oh, I know not Nolan Ryan likes Final Fantasy Tactics. So if I see something like that, I'll tag him in it or something. It's just getting to know your friends better and on a deeper level. So, all right. This time we do got to go. I think my wife's butt shaking meant she wanted something. So
oh, she wants attention. All right, Tom.
Attention.
You best get to it, my friend.
I'm going to play this, but I'm going to bail straight after this. I'll talk to you on Twitter. I love you, Bryan. Thank you for
all right. Thank you for having me. Love you too, Tom. Peace.
Yep. Peace. Tom Show.